Nobodies.
So I'm silly. Can you open mine?
Oh, yeah. You can't break those nails. So, Blue Moon non-alcoholic. I have not had these.
Okay, take a sip
if you
first.
don't drink them all, I'm a little sick. So,
okay.
not a lot sick,
I
but
appreciate yours.
if I just felt like a tickle in my throat today. And so I was like, ooh, I ate garlic.
'Tis the season.
Yeah. Have you ever eaten garlic to stay like healthy?
Yeah.
It is like a game changer.
Yeah.
I was super coffee probably a week ago, like when I woke up and I was like, I think I'm too late. But I ate like 3 cloves of garlic that day and 3 cloves the next day, and I was like completely fine.
Yeah, it's like that, and with honey too.
Yeah.
Like there's so many different things. I agree. Being in like the fitness world, I love to get my nutrients from like actual food and not take all these supplements. So I agree with you.
Yeah. My problem is I don't eat anything that healthy. So I end up like, yeah, what am I eating that has these things? And I don't. Yeah. I don't know. But I'm glad to have you.
I'm so happy to be here.
I've been asking you for only like a year.
Yeah, how's it been?
No, I don't know.
Probably.
I don't know. I was trying to think the other day when I first met you, because I was at the club, but it was probably like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a few years.
I would say.
Was it at the club?
I think so.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Because I remember you used to drink Pendleton, and I had Pendleton with you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I was actually trying to find some non-alcoholic Pendleton, but
if only. Yeah. Oh my gosh, that would be amazing. I recently came across a whiskey Coke that was NA. I didn't try it.
In a can?
Yeah.
Did it taste good?
Because like I didn't try it. But like sobriety's been so trendy this year. So like everybody has released an NA version.
Right.
And so yeah, that's only, and I know they make like NA whiskeys and tequilas somewhere, but I don't see them at our stores.
I didn't even know that they did.
Yeah. There's like an NA bar I've seen online. I don't know where it's at, but it's like, I mean, full blown like vodka bottles, and it's like NA stuff.
Man, I can't imagine wanting to drink vodka and wanting that taste without wanting to get fucked up.
100%.
I mean, the only reason I'll drink vodka is because I'm trying to get fucked up. Not for the taste.
Totally.
I'm not really a vodka guy.
I never was either.
I like tequila and then whiskey. I'll drink drink vodka, but
yeah, last on my list.
So you just hit 100. No, I don't know why I keep saying 100. A whole year.
1 year.
The other day?
Yeah. This last week. So it's been crazy. Time has flown.
Yeah.
I feel like that first 6 months, like you adopt sobriety as like your new personality, and it's like all I thought about and focus on. And then after that, I honestly kind of forgot.
Yeah.
Like life is just like normal, and that's just kind of how things are.
That's pretty good. Do you think that you had a problem before, or do you think that you were just like, I just would rather try to cut it out?
And I think that's always the biggest question. Everybody thinks like some big event happened and that like led me to sobriety.
You like murdered a guy.
Right? Never. But no, I was honestly tired of waking up hungover all the time. And it's just like from being in the bars, you know, we drink a lot being bartenders. So I think there's a lot of layers of alcohol misuse that people don't talk about. Like it doesn't have to be so black and white. It's just like, oh, somebody's an alcoholic, you know, like binge drinking is definitely a problem too. And like there's just different layers to that. And it was never just 1 or 2 drinks for me. It was like 10 to 20, you know, it was a lot of shots that happened in a night. And so, no, nothing crazy happened. I just was so tired of it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, this is something I struggle with, like as I'm drinking it. Like, also,
no judgment.
You're coming on a podcast that has at least for me and my friends, is notorious just us getting fucked up.
Yeah. And that's the thing is like with sobriety, I've been like, not pressuring anybody to change anything that they're doing. You know what I mean? It's just been about like my own journey. And
yeah, because I remember when you started 75 Hard, and that was just like, oh, that's dope. And I've had other friends that do it, and then they kind of go back into lifestyles, and not just the alcohol, but you know, they stop going to the gym again, or they, you know, get back into habits. So it's cool you kept going.
Yeah, and they talk about people who like want to make some drastic change, like sobriety, for instance. Doing challenges like helps you like actually get there, whether it's a 30-day challenge or whatever it is. So yeah, I found 75 to be like what led me to that success.
Yeah. Yeah, I was just talking last night about how challenges help me.
Yeah.
Because if I were to just be like, I'm going to drink less this week,
yeah,
it doesn't happen.
totally.
Or
I was
I'm
the
only
same
gonna have a
way.
couple tonight, and then I'm gonna cap it. There's no
Yeah.
as soon as I get like that buzz, I'm
Yeah.
like, let's
Yeah.
go.
Every time.
Yeah.
That leads me to something I was going to mention too. So I read a book and it's called The Joy of Being Sober. I wish I would have read this book a long time ago when I first initially decided to do the sobriety thing. But in this book, she says it's easier to have 0 than to have 1 or 2. And that right there was like, wow, that's something I definitely experienced because it was never 1 or 2.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I 100% agree.
Yeah.
I like when I did I did 100 days sober 2 years ago.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And California sober.
Yeah. Yeah.
I enjoy
Relatable.
my weed and my cocaine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't have a problem with any other drug.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I'll do it here and there.
Totally.
But it's not like I'm doing it every day.
Yeah.
Whether it's mushrooms or weed. I mean, I barely smoke weed. So those, like, I wasn't trying to cut those things out. I wasn't trying to like escape those. But yeah, once I like got into that rhythm, it was just like, yeah, I'm not drinking now.
Yeah.
And it was so much easier for me to not drink when I had 0 each day.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I was like, okay, now I'm only gonna drink a little bit.
Yeah.
And then the first day, it's just like you drink a couple, and I'm like, all right, and then
right back.
And then you wake up the next day hungover, so then you drink again,
Yeah.
and then I went right back.
It's like a vicious little cycle.
Yeah, that's true. I've been doing this. I just finished one, but I do this. What I call, I don't know if I told you about it, but I also don't know if I've talked about it here. But a pain contract, and I think I learned it from a TED Talk.
Yeah.
And basically, you create a challenge, and whatever that challenge is, you have a partner that keeps you accountable, and you make a bet, and that bet like if you fail your contract or your challenge, that it has to hurt. So I made it monetarily. I owed my friend $1,000 if I didn't if I failed the contract, and that $1,000 was big enough for me to be like, dude, I cannot fail this. And so then I gave myself a certain amount of drinks per week. So mine was 15, which sounds like a lot to the average person probably, but I was probably drinking 15 a day.
Yeah,
so,
yeah, exactly.
So then it was just like a couple times a week I could drink a few, and that is what helped me be able to only drink a few and then stop.
Yeah.
Versus continue on.
Totally.
Or else I owed my friend a grand.
We don't want to do that. Yeah, we don't want to pay somebody a grand.
No. And every once in a while, somebody would be like, "Come on, just do one shot." I was like, "Do you have $1,000?" I was like, "If you have $1,000 and you want to give it to me, I will drink with you."
Yeah. Oh, funny.
So, but it's worked really well. So I did it last year, and then I did it this year.
Yeah.
And then I just ended in like during Thanksgiving. And I can already feel myself drinking more. So I'm going to start another one in January and do another 100 days or whatever. So.
I think that's awesome. And especially like just doing these things, it's kind of like, oh, wow, I was capable of doing that. It kind of just reminds yourself like you are capable of taking a break whenever you want.
Yeah. Feel your confidence go up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. And I think a big problem too for a lot of people is they want to wait for something specific. Like for me, my 75 hard, my first day was December 11th. And so for December 11th, I have my birthday the following Friday. I have Christmas, then like New Year's and all these things. You know what I mean? So of course I was like, well, shit, should I wait till after? And it's like, no, shut up. We're going to start today. And so then I had a sober first birthday, and all of that. And that was like a lot of confidence right there.
Yeah. Did you pick December 11th for any reason, or you were just kind of like, I'm doing this now?
Totally. It was like, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. I'm just going to do it.
Yeah.
It had been on my mind for like a couple weeks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, I kind of want to do 75 hard. Yeah, I kind of want to do it, but I don't know. And so I tried to get all my ducks in a row and was like, we're starting today.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, what is like
75 hard? Yeah. So you have to work out twice a day. 45 minutes minimum. It has to be inside and outside. And so I did mine in the dead of winter, which was good. That was good for me because now I can do it. Yeah. You're supposed to follow like some sort of clean eating like meal plan. For me, I just tracked my macros. I didn't eat out. The hard thing for me with that was French fries. I love French fries. And so I had no French fries for 75 days. No alcohol. You have to read 10 pages a day. That's easy for me. I love reading.
Like children's books?
Yeah. If you wanted to, I would support it. And then you have to take a progress photo every day.
Okay.
And I believe that's all the little things.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, it's doable. And then for me, the hard part was the no alcohol.
Right.
Because I'd always been in the gym and like enjoyed clean eating.
Right.
And so, yeah, that was a transition.
What about the thing that, because I've been thinking about doing it. I was thinking about doing modified just because I don't know about the 2-a-days.
There's 75 soft.
Yeah.
Have you heard of that?
No, but
it's a modified version. Yeah. You would like it because it is, I think, just 1 a day. And like, so it's just a softer version. And it's not, and then kind of goes back to what you said before. Like a lot of people do the 75 hard, but then they go back to their like life that they had before. I don't think people should push their bodies really crazy for 75 days because it's like, it's not sustainable. Right. You know what I mean? So for me, like, I didn't have 2 crazy intense workouts a day. Like one of mine would be like a 45-minute walk outside or, you know, and so like those are things that I can continue to maintain.
Yeah. 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 Cause so there's that's 2-a-days. It's not like I did all the time because I'm probably in the gym for 2 hours a day, but it's all at once. And then a lot of that time is the prep, like, you know, getting dressed, drinking your pre-workout, the driving, and then after showering. So I'm like, if I have to do all those things twice a day, now I'm looking at like, you know, 3 or 4 hours. Yeah. So I'm like, I would do that all at once. The book thing I would like to do because I don't read at all. So like that would be something that would benefit me.
Do you do audiobook?
Yes, I do that.
Yeah, I do too.
But I would love to learn to like sit down for 10 minutes and physically read, you know, even if it's just at the end of the night.
For sure.
But then I wanted to add like a challenge in video. So one of the things that I'm looking at doing in January is the YouTube live thing I was saying about. So I'm like, ooh, that could be part of my 75 hard or like even if I just do a month. But I like the idea of like a longer period.
Totally.
But so it's like every single day I get on YouTube live and I talk and I do my thing. And that is more important to me than like a progress picture or
totally. I think that goes to like they always say like you should pour like an hour of your day into whatever skill you're trying to build. And so I think that like that goes perfectly with that.
Yeah.
And it's something that you'll show up and do.
Yeah. Yeah, and then the alcohol thing, I've definitely done no alcohol before, so I could do that again.
Yeah.
I like this last year and 2 when I was like doing the balanced alcohol because I do want to be a person who can sometimes drink.
Absolutely.
And especially like say for the podcast. So I'm trying to figure that out. But I like the last year I did it. I said you only can have a certain amount of drinks per week, except you have unlimited on your podcast days.
Yeah.
I would end up just getting so trashed on podcast days.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, it's my one day to drink. And then like the podcast, I'd be like so sloshy and like falling asleep. It was just like, it's obnoxious. Yeah. So this time I was like, dude, you're not doing that. Like it's just a total amount. So that way I'd only have 5 or 6 on the podcast. And, like, get a little buzz, but don't get, you know, crazy.
Yeah, I love that idea so much.
I'm gonna keep visiting this because in January I decided I at least want to do a month of this challenge, and I was talking to my sister last night, 2 nights ago, and I've talked to another friend about doing like something once a day. Yeah, like I talked to a musician friend, and he talked about writing a song a day or something like that. And my sister is writing poetry, so she's like, write a poem a day. And so we're gonna create this group where we like do, you know, whoever wants like close friends that want to join, we're gonna be like, okay, we're committing to January. We're all doing something once a day. Yeah. So I think that'll be fun.
Yeah. And I think like the success within all of those things is like the accountability. So like that would just already, you would have the accountability partners. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I think that that's brilliant because like you see how I post on social in the mornings when I'm at the gym. Like for me, that's a form of accountability. Yeah. It's like if I go a couple days without doing that, I have people like, where are you at? Did you go to the gym today? And I'm like, oh shit. Like, So for me, it's enough for me to get up and out of bed into the gym.
Yeah. You're at the gym at like 6, right?
Yeah. Anywhere between 5 and 6 most days of the week.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the nights you work at the club, you
I
said you,
know.
like, barely sleep.
Yeah.
Because you don't get out of there till, like, 4.
Yeah, yeah. I get home anywhere between 3 and 4, and so it makes for long days. But
Yeah.
it's just 2 nights a week, so
Yeah. Do
I
you
can
catch up on
do
the sleep, like, after that?
I try. I am now prioritizing rest. I
Yeah.
wish I would have prioritized rest a long time ago, but we don't when we're in our 20s. And so that's fine. But no, I am. I'm now trying to like reschedule my days to where like those nights my phone doesn't go off. I have no in-person meetings like directly after. So I
Yeah.
try to sleep in.
Yeah. I started
Yeah.
prioritizing sleep a couple years back,
Yeah.
and that's, like, one of the healthy things I do for myself,
Yeah.
but, even if I'm drinking, if I go to bed at 2,
Hmm.
like, I will not get up till 10,
Yeah.
and I'm just like, "Nope."
And I
Like
never used to be like that. So it's so important now. Like I care so much about all the effort I'm putting in the gym. And like that kind of goes back to like taking alcohol out of my routine. It's like I'm just in the gym so much and then I would drink so much and then I'd stay up so late and your body can't. Like no
Yeah.
progress happens. Like
Right.
it was fine, but you're not seeing the progress that you want to see.
Yeah.
And so sleep is so important. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, especially if you're lifting heavy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I go through phases with the gym.
Mhm.
I mean, I've been a consistent gym goer for 10 or 15 years, like, as far as, like, long term, but
Mhm.
I'll get these seasons where it's only 3 times a week or 2 times a
Totally.
week.
I think
But
that's healthy balance.
yeah,
It happens.
yeah, but those are the times when normally I'm drinking more. It's
Yeah.
not like I'm doing anything like that much more. Uh, yeah,
But see, like, you're so self-aware. Like, that's what's important at the end of the day
I
of,
try to
like,
be
what
that.
people want.
I don't
You are.
know.
Yeah, I think that that's what's important because then you'll slowly make changes that you wanna make.
Yeah. Did
Mhm.
you get I know you said you posted, like, Snapchat and stuff,
Mhm.
and I'm sure you, like, tell people, like, at work or at different works,
Yeah.
but did you have somebody doing 75 hard with you?
I did not. I had a couple people mention it. I had a few, I think strangers online kind of mention it. But nobody that I was doing it like hand in hand with.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, because I
Yeah,
feel like that can help, but that's even more impressive if
totally.
you
Yeah, it was a really cool accomplishment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say when I did so speaking of, like, taking time
Yeah.
to decide that you're gonna do it,
Mhm.
like, you only took a couple weeks, you said?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, it took me 2 years to finally go sober. Like, I had been thinking
Yeah,
about it for so
yeah.
long, and it was just like, "Oh, well, what about my
Yeah,
podcast? What about this?" "What about going on dates?"
yeah,
Like, all these things, and it's like, "Oh, it's coming in I don't wanna be sober in
yeah,
summer." Oh, now it's there's always the excuse, right?
totally. There's
So
always a holiday, an
mhm,
event, a
birthdays.
trip
Yeah.
for sure.
So eventually, I mean, it was about 2 years, and I think the thing that got me was I ended up, like, Googling, alcoholism and liver disease and stuff, and I saw, like, some really
Oh,
horror
spook.
stuff, and I was like, "I gotta do this
Yeah.
now."
Yeah, there really is a lot, like, there's 0 benefits to alcohol, but we all,
Yeah.
it's what everybody gravitates towards, especially in business, work, like, fun, like, it's really, like, everywhere. We're
Yeah.
surrounded by it, so yeah, it's been interesting to be in these rooms that I before would be like, "Oh, I need to have a shot to
Mhm.
do X, Y, and Z," and then now it's like, I'm just here."
Yeah. Yeah, 'cause I mean, I would say I guess you can do all the things that I would say are a benefit, but,
Mhm.
like, I feel like I'm more talkative if I'm
Totally.
buzzed,
Yeah, and I
or I'm
probably am
more
too.
confident, like, if I go on a date,
Yeah.
I, like, have a little more like, less filter or a little
Yeah,
less shy, but
totally.
you can also learn to not be that without
Yeah.
or, like, you can learn to be that
Mhm.
without alcohol.
And that just
Um
takes, like, repetition, just like the gym.
Right.
Just gotta keep doing reps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found, like, with the podcast, I did it sober a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Totally fine.
Mhm.
It didn't, like,
Yeah.
really change other than
Mhm.
I stopped getting so sloppy. So
Absolutely.
that was definitely the con
Yeah.
of drinking so much because I would
Yeah.
just get, like, super, super drunk and
Yeah. You had to remind me of, like, something that I dealt with a ton when I was going through, like 'cause I didn't have an end date in sight, not drinking alcohol, and everybody's like, "How long are you going for?" when are you going to stop? Or what are you doing? And I didn't know. I was like, I'm just going another day, you know? But my Italy trip was something that everybody, I think we even had this conversation, and everybody was like, you're going to be in Italy. You have to have a glass of wine.
Right.
And I was like, my trip's going to be fun regardless. And so like, but it took me a long time to get to that mindset.
Yeah.
Because of course I would want to get lit in Italy and have a blast. You know, I think I had that mindset when I went to Bali. And that's why I went to Bali 2 days early, so I could have a couple drinks there.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of cool to like go on this trip and then be like, I don't need to.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I really cared about how many days I had gone without alcohol.
Yeah.
Like that was exciting for me.
Yeah.
More than just having a glass of wine and then starting all over again.
Right.
And so.
Yeah, I can see that because I noticed that I do well on like the consecutive number going up. I also noticed that even with money, I hadn't done this in a long time, but I started putting aside money in a bank account.
Yeah.
And like I get addictive to seeing that number grow.
Totally.
And so I can understand that with the boost too.
Yeah. And I feel like a lot of people felt differently. Like I had a lot of friends like, stop counting, Brittany. Don't count. That's not healthy. And I'm like, shut the hell up. I am going to count my freaking 200 and whatever days I was on.
What do you mean it's not healthy? I mean, it's more healthy than drinking every day.
Yeah. And then I stopped counting eventually. But initially, like, it is fun to see it grow.
Well, that's the thing that, I mean, I know I have an issue. Like, it's definitely my number one vice. And I mean, this I know for sure. And I've like talked to my therapist about it and stuff. And like, we're just like working on ways to, you know, like think about it, replacing it with things that are good, etc. But she likes the contract idea. She's like, if that's what it takes, it's what it takes. Like 100%. You're putting boundaries on yourself. But I can tell I have a problem based on like how many I count. I'm like, ooh, I've gone 4 days without drinking. I'm like, holy shit, that's you're so proud of yourself, but you just went 4 days. But so you can tell like you have a problem when you think about it a lot. So when you get to that point where you're not even thinking about it, that's when you're like, oh yeah, I've kind of like it's not as like in my face anymore.
Yeah, I feel like I truly like adopted this new personality for like 6 months, and then around the 6-month mark, it was so normal. Like I had forgotten all the time, like whether I was going out to eat at a restaurant or going to a friend's house, or it just is like so normal now.
Yeah. So do you still have not have any sort of end goal? You're just taking it in stride and going for it.
Totally. I think at the beginning, I didn't want to be like, I want to be like alcohol free, like in sobriety, like in that sense. Because what if I change my mind?
Yeah.
But that's also the beauty of life. Like we can change our mind.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it felt like it was a really bold statement to make. But now that I'm at 1 year, like, I have no thoughts of going back.
You don't miss Pendleton.
I don't.
No, that's good.
But you know, like on that note, like, because people always ask if I've ever had like cravings or what do I miss? I've never had cravings, but I do miss being silly with my friends.
Yeah. See, mine, in that sense, I'm like, I'll take a bunch of mushrooms.
Yeah.
Like, because that makes me pretty silly.
Yeah.
And it's pretty wild, you know, and I have no issue doing that.
Yeah.
When I'm completely sober, I miss beer, but then with all the NA like blow up, it's really like not bad. And I honestly don't mind if it's like the athletics have like under 0.5. Like, I don't really count that. Even though there's like a touch of alcohol in it. But yeah, every once in a while I'll still be like, man, I miss a shot of tequila. Like if I'm sober. But you're right. Like I never miss the hangovers. I love waking up clear.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like, for me, like I really wanted to give like 110% into my days, and especially like running a business. It's like, I want to just be completely focused. Like, no, you're just so foggy the next day, regardless of you're showing up. You're not 100%.
Right.
And so that's what like also really mattered to me.
Well, my struggle is with photography and videography and stuff. Because unless I had like a shoot, I if I'm hungover, I just don't do the work.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be like, I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah.
And because you have control of your schedule,
totally,
it's hard. Like, it's so hard for me to just sit at a desk and try to work on something when I'm hungover. Like, I can go into the bar and do it.
Yeah.
But like going in and sitting there, I'm just like, I'm like, I'm gonna do something else.
Yeah.
And so then I just avoid my work, and that's bad.
Totally. Being your own boss. It's like nobody's gonna show up for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So speaking of, you like to work a lot.
I do. I'm a workaholic, as a lot of people would say.
Yeah. Do you like it though?
I do. I have always loved hustle culture.
Yeah.
Like, I love the grind.
Yeah. See, I kind of feel, I feel like I'm caught between two worlds because like a lot of the people that I follow are hustle culture people.
Totally.
Like Gary Vee and Alex Hormozy.
Yeah.
And he's like a big icon to me. But he is and always work all the time. And he's like, the only thing I like to do is build business. He's like, I don't like to travel.
Yeah.
I don't like to like play golf.
Yeah.
I don't want, like, he's like, that those don't bring me joy.
Yeah.
Building business brings me joy. So that's what I do. And I personally don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
I only have an issue is like if you're working but you hate it, or if
totally.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so it's like, yeah, do what you like. They say do what you want to do in life. So if that's what you like to do, then you're fulfilling yourself.
I don't think a lot of people have that mindset.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of people just assume it's like you're grinding day in and day out and you're not doing the things you love. But kind of goes back to us being like our own bosses. Like, I schedule my version of fun, like within my day, and like I do travel, which is awesome. And I try to go out of the country once or twice a year.
Yeah.
So it's like that's fulfilling enough for me to like grind through the other days.
Yeah, and you're also not at least from what I can tell, is you're not a person who's hustling just for like to show off material things. Like there's people that are like, oh, they hustle so hard just so they can show off their Lambo or some other stuff.
Yeah, that's not very fulfilling.
Yeah.
Like, I think like it goes back to like when people talk about, oh, once I have $1 million, I'm gonna be so happy. Those people still have problems at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have to be happy the way along the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm definitely more laid back. I have like goals that I want to get to and all this stuff, but I am way lazier than you are.
Stop.
And I probably still work more. Like I still probably work more than my average friend maybe, or the average person I know. And I have like my main income and then my side hustles, and I feel like I'm constantly doing stuff, but the people that I compare myself to work way more than me. Yeah. So then I always still feel like I'm not doing enough.
Yeah. I get those feelings too. Like, I think that's just human nature to like you should never compare. Like, comparison like totally takes away all the joy, you know? But it's kind of just about staying in your own lane and whatever makes you happy. And there's no timeline, you know?
Also, saying you should never compare is logically makes sense, but actually not comparing.
It's hard. It's so hard to take your own advice. Like, we all do it.
Yeah. Like, a big one is, like, you shouldn't care what people think. Duh. Like, yeah, but we all do. Like,
I think I have that conversation with myself daily.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So we love to say that.
Yeah.
But
this podcast has been a really good practice in not caring what people think.
Yeah.
Because I've said some very embarrassing things or posted some very embarrassing clips. And it's just like, well, I can tell I care because I'm hesitant to post it.
Totally.
So then I still will, because I'm like, okay, this is practice in letting go of that care and still doing it anyway.
Yeah, I love that. I practice that too. Social media is it's such a great tool for us to reach so many people. But then, you're like, oh, shoot. You know, is this caption good enough? Did I give enough value? Did I say something crazy? You know? Yeah. And then it's like people's attention span is so short, and they're also so self-centered. Like they're going to forget in 5 seconds.
Yeah. The amount of times that you're worried about what people think and you realize, no, they're too busy worried about what other people think of them that they're not even paying attention to you.
Totally.
Yeah. I mean, you're always going to have haters, especially when I never thought, I guess when I was younger, I was like, why do people worry about haters? Like, people don't normally have haters. And I'm like, but then if you are doing bigger things than other people are, then you will have haters, because people are like, who do you think you are that you deserve this or this or this?
Totally.
Yeah.
I was thinking about that earlier today because I was thinking about how you know, when I decided to stop drinking, like people that aren't significant in my life, like random people, like customers that come through the club, they would say, "Oh, you're not as much as fun as you used to be." And I'm like, dude, why do you love to see people at their worst?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it's such a weird
Yeah.
phenomenon. Yeah.
I feel like I don't know who said it, but it's like people will cheer for you when you are like beneath them.
Yeah.
Like they want you to do better. Like, oh yeah,
Mhm.
like let me help you. But as soon as you do better than them,
Yeah.
then people are like, oh, then they start shitting on you. Oh, you think you're better.
Totally.
And so when it comes to, for example, drinking, like a lot of people wish they didn't drink so
Yeah.
much. So when you see somebody achieving it,
Mhm.
you want to like pull them down instead of you getting
Yeah.
pulled up.
Yeah.
And I mean, I felt that. I mean, I do get annoyed if somebody doesn't drink and they look down on people,
Yeah.
but I know you don't. Like,
Yeah.
'cause I mean, you're
Never.
still in
I
the
could care
culture,
less.
and yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, same. And
Yeah.
so, when people are like, "Oh yeah, I
Mhm.
wish I could do that, but I don't feel like I can," so then
Yeah.
it's like this bit of jealousy that comes in, and then
Mhm.
that's where those comments come from. I feel.
Totally. It's always projection.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel those things a lot, and I've tried to notice them, but I've noticed when, like, a friend gets successful, like,
Mhm.
before me or they,
Yeah.
like, reached a new height,
Mhm.
and I'm like, "Damn." I just felt it. I was like, "I am jealous,"
Yeah.
and I was like, "Why did they get to
Yeah.
get there, and
Mhm.
I haven't got there yet," to
Yeah.
that level,
Yeah.
but I'm like, "No, no, Joshy boy."
Yeah. I think also something to be said about that, like healthy competition is a good thing.
Yeah.
You know, if you can have that with people who are in different careers or whatever it is. But I think healthy competition helps you strive for like that next step.
Yeah.
Mhm. Yeah.
So another thing I wanted to ask you about. So
Yeah.
you work at the club,
Work at the club.
and then you work real estate.
Mhm.
So are you? I think I asked you this actually a couple years ago,
Mhm.
but I was like, "Are you ever trying to go full time real estate?" And you were
Right.
like, "I love staying at the club."
Yeah. Yeah.
Is that like still a thing? Like you like
Yeah.
doing both?
So to make that make sense, I do real estate full time, 7 days a week. I'm at the club the 2 nights a week, Thursday, Fridays. More than half of my closings are from the club.
Yeah, that's
So
wild.
that's hard to step away from.
I mean, there's a lot of
It's
people
a
with money that come through there.
Yeah, it's a form of lead generation for me, at the end of the day. And so that's why I find them both valuable because they feed both businesses. Keeps me
Yeah,
in front of people, and so people are always like, "Oh, Brittany, how's real estate?"
yeah,
And so we get to have a real estate conversation that I didn't press,
right.
and so I find it valuable.
Yeah.
Hmm.
When you say it feeds, they feed each other.
Yeah.
Do you ever have like a house closing? You're like, you should come into the club.
Yes. I've had a
Come
lot.
celebrate yours.
Yeah. I've had a good amount of people actually do that, which is so
Really?
funny. Yeah, couples and like had a like in single people who bought from me. Yeah,
Yeah.
they come in and I mean it's Idaho. So, the club it's not as crazy as other cities. So it's
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
true.
Yeah, and so I feel like it's kind of harmless.
Yeah. Because and then I guess the other question I wanted to ask, and I've talked to you before about it, but like
Yeah.
managing like the degeneracy of the club
Hmm.
and the sophistication, I guess, of
Yeah.
real estate.
Yeah.
Because I noticed even I work at a bar that is pretty, lots of people that
Hmm.
are from all walks of life, but they still look down on me for
Yeah.
liking to go to strip clubs.
Yeah.
They're like, I can't believe you like that. And I'm like, and that's just that,
Yeah.
and so I've gotten some shit from some people about posting
Yeah.
about the strip club, whether it's on my story
Hmm.
or with, photos of a stripper
Yeah.
or a girl,
Totally.
that's like racy,
Yeah.
whatever. And then they're like, well, you're gonna miss out on some professional
Business.
business if this is the kind of post that you put.
Yeah.
And they could actually be right,
Hmm.
that I might miss out on some business, but like these are the things I like
Yeah.
and the things I enjoy. And so I don't like I've still
Mhm.
been trying to navigate balancing those two things.
Yeah, totally. I think there's so many layers to that as well. Like, nobody has ever flat out told me, I didn't choose you because you bartend at a club at nights, you
Hmm.
know? Don't get me wrong. I'm sure there has probably somebody out there who has made that educated decision. But at the end of the day, like, it's 2024. I'm about to be 2025.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like a lot of people can respect the grind, and
Right.
like, there's no such thing as making too much money. So, like,
Yeah.
why wouldn't I go work and make some more money? You know what I mean?
Right.
But I think it also helps, when I'm talking to people, they kind of can separate, like, oh, she's not just some person who bartends at the club. She actually knows what she's talking about. And being able to throw like data and like market statistics out there is
Mhm.
like helpful for people. Um, I think like my Instagram presence, like presence on social media is important and has been like my resume at people's fingertips.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, oh no, I do real estate full time. They're like, does she really do real estate full time?
Sure.
And they look me up, they're like, oh shit, she really does do real estate full time. And so I think that has been an uber help for me. But I kind of love what you said. Like at the end of the day, like you have what you like, and people are going to do business with you because they also like the same thing.
Right. Yeah,
Mhm.
like there's a million people who also
Yeah.
like those
Yeah.
things, and there are gonna be people who don't like those things, and if I
Yeah.
didn't post about them, maybe they would be more
Mhm.
inclined to work with me, but then I have to hide
Yeah.
all of these, like, features,
Mhm.
because 'cause I'm still like, I'm struggling with this right now, where it's just like I talked to my sister about this the other day, and it had, like, recently been brought up, was just like, you there's things on your page that because of that, like, we can't connect you with this
Mhm.
certain person or whatever.
Yeah.
And so I like kind of realized I either have to censor everything
Yeah.
or nothing. Like I either like
Mhm.
choose one or the other, because if I go down the censorship road, I mean,
Yeah.
I have to censor, degenerate, like cussing, swearing,
Mhm.
like racy photos,
Yeah.
some of my like podcast talk when it
Yeah.
goes below board,
Mhm.
whatever. So there's like a million things that I have to censor if I want to work with, say, a Mormon,
Yeah.
or something.
Yeah.
Or I could just decide I don't really care about working with Mormons
Yeah.
or Christians, and I just work with your everyday person.
Yeah. Trying to be like authentic, I think is always the goal, and of course, like first impressions matter and being
Right.
professional matters. But I do like truthfully think like we weren't put on this earth to be professional beings 24/7, And so I think that there's enough people out there to do business with. And
Yeah.
and I think like the 5-minute funeral is important.
What's that?
Like for me, if something like say somebody doesn't want to work with you, like or like that's a good example. Somebody doesn't want to work with you. It's like, damn, that's a fucking bummer. Like that really sucks. Okay, on to the next.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like not sitting there and just dwelling in it.
Yeah.
I try to do that to like literally anything that's like a big bummer that comes up in my life. I'm like, we can't spend more than 5 minutes being upset
Right.
about it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hmm.
Yeah, my friend Tyler, this is a long time ago, he taught me this, but it's still like a lesson I'm
Yeah.
learning now. But he's like, yeah, this is why I go to bars.
Hmm.
He's like, I'm not trying to find clients that I meet in church, because I don't
Yeah.
go to church. I
Hmm.
don't like, that's not my
Yeah.
demographic.
Yeah.
There are still, hundreds of thousands of
Hmm.
people out there. I meet my clients at
Yeah.
bars. I
Yeah.
meet my clients where I like to go.
Hmm.
But
I
that's
love
a
that.
more degenerate behavior, but
Yeah.
there's tons of people who love that.
Well, and people like, like for my world, like everybody like buys and sells. It doesn't matter what they do or what their hobbies are. Like there's people on this planet that need to get into real estate. So it's like, I love what you just said because, yeah, you should just go to the things you like doing. Do
Yeah.
the hobbies you enjoy. Like, don't put on a fake mask and, try to suck these people in when it's like you could only maintain that image for so long.
Yeah. Thought you were gonna say
Yeah.
something else about suck these people.
And I'm like, well,
But also don't do that.
yeah.
But yeah, and then like there was this guy I met the other day, maybe it was a couple months ago, but he loves going to the club.
Hmm.
And I met him at Kawahima. Then we ended up going to the strip club
Yeah.
after, and then we became friends. And then he's like, yeah, I do want to like I have some stuff that I want to hire you for.
Yeah.
And that guy has no problem
Yeah.
with what I post or the fact that I
Yeah.
like strip clubs, because he also likes strip clubs and he has a
Yeah.
lot of money too. And
Yeah.
so it's just, yeah, you got to find the people that
Yeah.
resonate with your lifestyle.
Hmm.
And then I guess the other thing that you said was your work speaks for itself.
Yeah.
Like when somebody meets you, they can tell you are a professional and you have a lot of knowledge.
Yeah.
And maybe I wasn't there a year ago, but as I grow and I'm learning, like at some point you can't deny my video work.
Yeah.
So somebody who even might have like, I don't, I don't love some of his lifestyle, but he is the best video guy that we have like ever met.
Yeah.
It doesn't, of course we're still gonna hire them. Like why would we not hire him just because he likes a few things that are different than us?
Totally.
And I feel like that'll eventually, like your work will outshine anything else.
Yeah, I totally agree. I love that.
Yeah, but I'm still working through it.
Yeah, there's always going to be something to navigate. Like I understand that. It's definitely relatable.
Yeah, I feel like there. I think it's Hermosi that talks about. Do you like Hermosi?
I do, and his wife. Yeah, they are both like killer. I enjoy watching them.
He says something about he's like, if you haven't been rejected, you're too cheap or you're too you don't charge enough for a product you're selling. But he said like the higher you charge, the more you're gonna get rejected, but yet you're still gonna make more money.
Yeah.
And I think that could also be true of just like things people don't like about you. Like eventually, like people are not gonna hire you because they don't like something about you.
Yeah.
But for all those people, there's going to be all these other people who like, we don't care about that. We just care about quality work or whatever.
Yeah. I think it's important to like remain positive because like that's just a very true statement. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And it's like, we would all love everybody to do business with us, but that's just not realistic.
Yeah.
Like you said, people do business with who they like.
Right. Yeah. And you can be likable and still disagree on. I mean, say like for example, politics. I mean, there's like there's the people on the left and people on the right, and there's some business owners who are like, we're not going to ever express our political view.
Yeah.
That way we can cater to more people.
Yeah.
But then there's other business owners that are like, no, we're going to express our political view. And even though we're cutting out half of the population, there's actually other people who are like, I like these guys. They say what they think, and then they like them even more.
Yeah.
Like that guy, the Old State Saloon guy, he's like super right wing, and he's like when he posted about like Straight Awareness Month or something, and giving out beers. And a lot of people think that was crazy and ridiculous, but he definitely cut out a bunch of left wing people, and they're like, "Fuck this guy, we're not going to go support him." But then he brought in like all these people who were his crowd, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't give a fuck. This is what I believe,"
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
Yeah, totally.
And I think he's doing just fine.
Yeah. Yeah, being authentic is important.
Yeah. Do another? I gotta pee.
No, I'm good. I gotta work on this guy some more.
Hold on.
What are you sipping on? No, I'm okay.
These are Natty Lights.
Natty Lights?
My favorite light beer.
Oh my gosh. Everybody loves those.
Do they?
I think.
I've never hardly meet anybody that
I've heard the name like 100 times, I feel like.
Do you know Natasha? Yeah, you used to work with her. Yeah. So when I met her,
I love her.
Yeah, me too. So we used to date back in the day. I know you probably know that.
At least I don't remember.
So I met her at Satin Dolls like before COVID. And then I met her again, like I met her like a year before COVID, and then I met her again, and then we started dating. But she had a different name there, like Aspen, I think it was.
Yeah.
But she she introduced herself as Natty, and then she's like, "You can call me Natty Ice." And I was drinking Natty Lights at the time. But like, there's also like, and I was like, "Dude, that is hilarious."
That's so cute.
So I had her in my phone as Natty Ice for like the longest time.
I love that.
But I started drinking those when I did keto like 6 or 7 years ago.
Yeah.
So because they're only like 2.5 or 3 grams of carbs.
Yeah.
So and Coors Lights are like 8 or something.
What?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's way different.
I know that.
And PBRs are like 15. I used to drink PBRs. And so if you're drinking like 10 PBRs, it's 150 grams of carbs.
Oh, totally. It adds up. I just didn't realize it was that much. Makes sense, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like IPAs and dark beers, but I try to only drink 1 or 2 because.
Can I show you something on an app I have?
Yeah.
Can I read something to you?
Sure.
Okay, so I have this app. What's it called? It has to do with being sober. It's called I'm Done Drinking. It's free. And so you put in like the last day you had a drink, you put in it's customized to you. So how many drinks you used to kind of averagely have and all those things. Anyways, I have to read this to you. I'm 371 days sober. That's 3,716 drinks not consumed, saved over $22,000, and calories saved 360,000 calories I've saved from not drinking.
What?
Look at that.
I'm clipping that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so good.
Give me a screenshot and take that to you.
The minutes go. So yeah, you should actually screenshot that.
Yeah.
That's impressive. Congrats.
This is cool. Like, I think this is fun for those people. Goes back to us wanting to count.
The gamification, right?
Yeah.
When it counts the money, is it counting like all drinking out, or is it an average of drinking out?
Yeah, it was. I think I had inputted like how much I would roughly spend on drinking.
Okay.
But of course, that's not like, you know, being a woman and in the club and stuff like that. Of course, like I wasn't paying for everything myself. I know I should have, honestly.
I've saved $0 because all my drinks are free.
Yeah, basically.
Oh man, there are times when I'm so jealous of hot girls, and I'm just like, man, I wish I was a hot girl, but I don't want to transition now. It's too late.
No,
no, I love being a dude, and I like at the same time, like my sister, she is like an attractive girl that has like gotten free drinks all the time, but she like, I guess will refuse to take them a lot of times. Yeah. She's like, because I never wanted to be a girl who just accepts and only uses guys for drinks. So she would like always offer, how would I get the next round? And she would
totally
do stuff like that. But I mean, I have a lot of friends that do get like all their drinks paid for, but then they still like the amount of shit they have to deal with for being a hot girl. Yeah. And like the creeps, the people that won't leave them alone. Yeah. All that stuff.
You know what? I actually never went through like a phase of like going out, but that's because I have bartended my entire 20s. Like I have been bartending Friday nights my entire 20s. I turned 29 this Friday.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I probably have had less than 10 Friday nights off.
Do you not go out during the what do you call that? Or before? Yeah. The like service industry nights? You didn't go out during those?
No, I never did. I used to like before real estate, I had bartended like 6 nights a week. And I was juggling a couple bars, you know. And I always said, like, we're at the same party, like I'm just making money, you know, and you're spending it. And so like for me, like that was enough of like my social interaction that I needed. But yeah, I never like went out. So for me, it was like at the club working, people buying me drinks there that I'm physically pouring. Sure. And then Saturday nights, I used to like go to my friend's house. Yeah. And that was kind of my like night dedicated to them because I work so much. So it's like I never really saw them. Yeah. But yeah, other than that, like I've never been somebody who was like, yeah, let's go out, let's go downtown. Yeah. I'm like beat from the club. Like,
for sure. Well, and also, I mean, you work more like 2 a.m. bars, right? Yeah. Because I've really never worked 2 a.m. bars except for my quick stint at the Torch and Jim's Alibi. But like most of the bars that I worked at were restaurant bars. Yeah. So then we would always go out after. It's like 10 or 11, and then we go out.
Yeah, totally.
But it is true. Like I find I have pretty much just as much fun. Working. Yeah. And then if I want to drink, I can. And so you're having a good time. Yeah. You're seeing all these people that are like at Rudy's is like a ton of my friends. Yeah. And I'm making money instead of spending it.
That's a fun place. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Have you been?
I was there like a long time ago. I lived by one out in Meridian.
You remember when I invited you to come have a Pendleton shot with me and you never came?
I think you took a picture of the bottle and it was like salty. It was like a different bottle that I've ever seen before too.
Oh yeah, the military one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I forgive you now that you came on my podcast.
And now that you know, I don't go out.
Yeah, I know.
Well, you didn't.
I'm like, I can't invite you to for a non-alcoholic Blue Moon because we don't have those.
Dude, I don't care. I'll find something.
No, we do have.
I'm pretty flexible. Like I'm like I still try to show up places, especially now, more than I did before. Like I think like keeping those relationships is like uber important.
Yeah. So there's speaking of that, I actually did 100 days sober probably 10 years ago. So there was one other time I did it. And that time I became extremely antisocial. It was like I got sadder. Like I was like I isolated.
Yeah.
And I didn't like it, but I did
Yeah.
it, and I was happy I did it. But it was just like so going into my last one 3 years ago, I was like I'm a little nervous
Yeah.
to do this. I don't want to isolate again, and so I kind of made a commitment to myself. It was like if you get invited out, you'll say yes.
Yeah.
Like if you can.
Love that.
And I did, and
Yeah.
so then I would just go and buy my 6-pack of
Yeah.
Heineken Zeros or something. I'd show up,
Yeah.
and there's another thing I wanted to ask you about sober. Like, did you ever notice that, like, if you go to house parties, or hang out with friends, that they didn't even notice that you were sober for like weeks on end or months?
Right. I didn't have that experience because I have been so like vocal about mine. So like people like, you know, talk. I'm sure if I met somebody randomly, then yeah, they maybe not would have like noticed. But no, I definitely have been pretty vocal about it.
Okay.
So
because I had a friend group, a bunch of Mexican guys I hang out with, and I guess I wasn't really that vocal because I did 100 days. I didn't.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I was just nervous to post in case I failed or
totally.
something.
That's how I felt about 75.
Yeah. But regardless, I had succeeded, but like I would still hang out. I would drink my NAs or I'd drink just the water or whatever. But because everybody's getting so drunk, they didn't notice.
Totally.
And so then like a different day, you know, you'd hang out and I'm like, dude, I haven't been drinking. They're like, no.
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, I hung out with you last week. I was sober. It's like, no, you were drinking. I was like, no, I wasn't. Like, and so they just have so that like people don't even pay attention.
Totally.
And you can even be out and order an NA beer and they're not even like seeing what you're doing. So you're just like, you're enjoying the company and the time and it's not really any different.
Yeah.
And then of course, once people get drunk,
they
don't
really
notice
don't
that
know
you're sober. Like,
yeah,
you're just doing your thing.
Yeah. I had did a similar thing too when I was trying to get all my ducks in a row, like I mentioned earlier. For me, one of them was like nailing down an NA that I love, you know? So I bought so many NAs and like I'd show up to my friend's house too with like my pockets filled with them, like, you know, just so I have something in my hand. Like that was comfortable for me.
That's a big thing for me.
Yeah. And so that was really helpful. And then the Blue Moon NAs are like so good.
Do they taste exactly like Blue Moon?
They're so good.
I'll try one if you don't drink them.
Yeah, please do. Please do. They're so good.
Have you had are you a Guinness person?
No.
But
the Guinness Zero
exactly like regular Guinness.
My girlfriend when she was pregnant, that would kind of be like one of her little treats she had. Yeah. And she liked Guinness, so she said it was bomb.
Yeah. I drink a lot of the Budweiser Zeros.
They're good. I like the Bud Zeros.
And they just taste like Bud.
Yeah.
So, and then I'll drink the Heinekens. Rudy says Heinekens, and they also have the it's like Trail Creek IPA from Sierra.
There's another IPA. Sam Adams.
Oh yeah.
Yard House has it. I have some in my fridge right now, actually. I don't like IPAs, but theirs is good. It's so good.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Have you tried any of the NA wines?
I did. It tasted like grape juice. And I don't like grape juice.
Oh shit.
So for me it was meh. But they do have some.
I had a couple, my friend Nikki, she lives in California and they have more out there. But she just was like a wine drinker and she had just had a baby and so she just wasn't drinking a lot even after. But you can find like a couple different bottles at the store and stuff. But it tasted pretty good. I mean, I don't drink a lot of wine. Yeah,
I didn't really either. It made me sleepy.
Yeah. Yeah, that is true. Of course, for me, all drinking makes me sleepy. I have to have caffeine.
Yeah.
I'm a sleepy drunk for sure.
Yeah.
Like I've been kicked out of many of ours.
Yeah.
And it's always because of
You're
sleeping.
Like,
it's never for fighting. It's just for sleep.
That's a good problem, you know. Exactly. It could be the opposite. People like rage.
Can I tell you another story about getting kicked out?
Yeah.
We got kicked out of Torch 2 the other day. And
the other day?
Yeah. And I hope she's not mad at me, but me and my friend Jeremy and Cinda go into Torch and we're hammered.
Yeah.
And at some point I'm sitting at the bar and Cinda like comes up and she only has one shoe on.
Oh,
and,
no.
and she's like, I don't know where my shoe is. And so we're trying to help her find her shoe, but eventually the bouncer's like, if she doesn't find her shoe, she's got to go. And I'm like, how come you can't show your feet here, but you can show your thigh? And come on now.
Not a bad argument.
No, I like didn't. I wasn't trying to argue with him, but I'm like, for sure. But so we looked around, we couldn't find it, so we got kicked out. And so then, but I was like, I mean, I was pretty close to blackout. Like, I don't really remember the story other than it was told to me later. But so what happened was we left the car there, Ubered here, and the next morning, we get up and start moving around, and I was like, that was I had worked on music all day. It was a Sunday, and so then on Monday I had didn't really have anything to do, and I was like, do you want to go get bottomless mimosas? And so we went over to the Blue Bench Brunchette down here. Or I call them, they're still open and they still do the stuff. So we're getting ready, and Cinda's like, do you know where my other shoe is? And I was like, you lost your shoe? Because neither of us remembered the night before. And so we're like looking all over. We're like, dude, and I was like, you don't have another pair of shoes here? And so we're like, fuck, dude, what are we gonna do? Like, I'm like, I really don't know what to do, and I don't have my car. And so I have this e-bike that I was gonna ride us both down to the brunchette.
Yeah.
And so we put bags on her feet, like we double bagged her feet, and then I rode up to the thrift shop on Orchard, and we bought a pair of shoes, and then went to the brunchette.
Oh my gosh.
And so I would assume that shoe is somewhere around the club.
It's still missing to this day.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't think I've been kicked out of there any other time. Maybe I have.
Yeah. I don't remember you being kicked out.
I've definitely blacked out there a couple of times.
Oh, for sure. I think everybody.
You see me definitely really drunk there for sure. But
that's easy to happen. The drinks flow. Like all of our customers treat us, and they just buy you shot after shot after shot. Yeah.
Well, and one of the reasons why I don't work there anymore is because I got way too drunk on my birthday.
Yeah.
And
it happens.
And I am a yes man.
Yeah.
And so I was just like, they're like, can I buy a shot? Yes. All of a sudden, whoops.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It
so
happens.
Pacing yourself is really tough when it comes to that for sure. But and then they also have a lot of the different days have the buy one get one on certain booze. So
for sure.
Like, oh well, I'll get this, and then all of a sudden you're.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, but I do love that place.
I do too.
It's a good time.
It's honestly I love pouring drinks. I love bartending.
Yeah,
and kind of goes back to and you're like, are you ever going to step away? And of course, there's going to be a day that comes that I step away from the club. I'm just kind of riding it out as long as I can, do both, physically. Because it's I am getting to the point where I'm tired, and it's not that I am tired of the work itself. I'm just tired of being tired. I'm tired of working till 4 a.m. and then waking right back up and running the business, and then going back and forth. I'm tired of being tired.
Well, if you're busy enough, you can get an assistant.
I know.
Does your work on the days that you need to sleep in after the club.
Totally.
Potentially. I don't know.
I've been good too about I mean, don't get me wrong, I need to be answering my phone anytime it goes off. But putting it in do not disturb at night when I'm sleeping and stuff like that. And people know I'll get to them as soon as I'm backing up and on my phone.
That's what that's a struggle of mine with owning a business, because I don't like to be a person that answers my phone whenever.
Yeah.
So I think if you set up that I've set up an expectation for my friends at least that I don't get back to them right away. And sometimes I'll take a day. I do understand that you can't really do that in business.
Yeah.
But you can set up, I mean, whether you want to or not, you can set up a hours, I don't answer, it's just an expectation of I don't answer my phone after 10 or before 8 or something.
Totally.
But I'm a person even now, so with the podcast stuff, for example, I haven't been getting it out enough.
Yeah.
I want to get to once a week, eventually twice a week.
Yeah.
And I'm like, how are you gonna have the time for that? And I'm going to need help. I have to get assistant at some point.
And dialing in, do you love to get organized and strategic and time block? blocks? Like, I think if you like dial those things
I
in
want to love that. I've just never done it.
Yeah.
I am the most disorganized person, at least right now.
Yeah.
And I think I used to be organized before I ran a business.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it was easy for me to like keep my stuff organized, but I wasn't building anything. Mm-hmm. Like, all I was doing was working and not working. So now that I'm like building a business and doing like all these things, I'm so disorganized. Yeah. So yes, I like literally just worked with my therapist about doing time blocks of like, okay, what is your Monday morning for? What is your Monday afternoon for? What is your Tuesday?
Totally.
What, like all these days and shifting. And I like this thing, I finally started using it. Yeah. I haven't updated in a month. Yeah. But I'm trying to do like, okay, here's my weekly tasks. Yeah. But yeah, I think that I will thrive more once I do that, but I haven't got there.
And you can start by like one little piece at a time. You know what I mean? Like whether it's like dialing in your morning routine, so like not your whole day, but just like figure out your, whatever time you like to wake up in those first 3 hours and dial that in like to its core. Yeah. And then like do the next piece. But
what's your morning routine?
I am a big morning, like I love my morning routine more than life itself. I love slow mornings. Okay. So like I wake up at 5. I'm like quick out the door. Like wake up, gym clothes on,
I love
out the
slow
door.
Mornings, quick out the door.
I'm coming back to the slow morning, okay? So I'm out the door at the gym, work out, anywhere between like 5 and like 6:30ish, back at home, and then I shower, make a cup of coffee, and I sit down with my dogs for an hour or 2. Like that is like chilling. My favorite thing ever.
Do you like in that hour or 2 with your dogs? Are you like journaling? Are you reading? Or are you just thinking?
I'm usually kind of being lazy. Like surprisingly, like I love being lazy, like so much.
That is surprising.
It is so surprising. I love to be lazy. Of
course, you're like, I'm lazy at 7 a.m.
I know. After I've already gone to the gym.
Right? Yeah.
Hello.
What's up, Russell?
And so I'm usually like I have the TV on, or I do spend a lot of it also trying to like dial in my content for the week. Like I try to consume a little bit of social media to like spark some inspiration, and then I'll kind of journal like a little bit on that. And then kind of circle back to actually like creating the content like later in the day. Yeah. But that's what I try to do usually. And then like just that like quality time with the dogs is important to me.
You too, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. So
that's like your morning routine.
Yeah. And then come into like late morning, then I start getting ready for my day, and then I go about office and stuff like that. But kind of like as you said, like being business owners, like our schedule does change. Like a client might call and you need to drop what you're doing and go do whatever that is, So it's like you can time block to the best of your abilities, but you still have to be like flexible too.
Yeah. Yeah. And so then when you do real estate like most of the day, when's your day end?
It kind of depends on the clientele I'm working with. Like say I'm working with a client who works a 9 to 5. We can't go view houses till 6 p.m. Okay, or you know what I mean? So it depends on who I'm working with at that time. It always varies. But I try to go to my office or like a coffee shop, try to get out of my house. Yeah. Because I can work from home. Doesn't mean I should work from home.
Yeah. That's something I'm trying to learn too is coffee, because I always get distracted with everything around the house.
Yeah. I like want to like lay with my dogs, and my animals. And so I try to get out for a few hours, do like back end work. And then if I need to meet anybody or show homes.
You talking about squats or like?
Yeah, that too. But that's in the morning.
That's in the morning.
Yeah.
Do you know who Laurel Hamblin is?
Yeah, of course.
So she was on the podcast. Yeah. And she's like, you and her are like 2 of the hardest workers I know.
That's a really big compliment.
Yeah, like she's like, and she has a kid. So it's even more of a like, she has to be so scheduled. And so she was just talking to me about just how she manages day and
the structure is so important.
And that this is like, I used to say I'm terrible at like organization, structure, etc. Now I'm trying to say I'm learning, because I'm like, it is something I can learn. I do believe if I can do 100 days sober, I can,
100%.
like that.
You can do anything.
Yeah. So right now, I'm trying to just do like the half days, like the first half day, second half day. If I can tackle that, conquer that, then I can maybe block it into more, But
I'm a really bad procrastinator. Like,
Same.
I think a lot of people are,
Right.
but I think it's because we still get our stuff done. So then we continue to procrastinate everything else, you know? But I try to do this. I don't always do it, but it's like kind of like you said, like your tasks that you need to do for the week or whatever. But I try to knock off like the hardest one, like
Eat the
straight off
frog.
straight off the bat. And that'll make you feel like you had an
Yeah.
accomplished day.
Yeah. Well, and like one of the things that helps me is just the to-do list.
Yeah.
And
I
know
love
there's
to-do
like
lists.
there's some people that love it, some people that think that you should do scheduling more than to-do list. I like to-do lists and I get way more done with one than without. My problem is I still don't use a to-do list like 3/4 of the time. And I'm like, what am I doing? Like, you know that you get more shit done.
Yeah.
Well, I don't use, but for some reason I forget. And then I meander through my day. And then I'm like, what did I do
today? Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what else I love? You should try this too. I haven't in a while, but I did for a little bit of time. I would set a timer on my phone for like 25 minutes. And I mean, what I would not do anything else besides whatever that task was for 25 minutes straight. When the timer went off, then I could take my break, scroll on social, take the dogs out, whatever. And so that made me feel better because then you're like dialed in. Like that's the thing is like no distractions.
Right. I don't know if you will be able to do this because you have to be on your phone potentially, but have you ever heard of a kitchen safe?
Oh my gosh. I think I know where you're going with this.
So I learned about it on this documentary I saw. But it's like a safe that you set a timer on and you can put whatever you want in it. So you put your phone in it and then you lock it for an hour and you cannot get in it unless you were to physically break it.
Yeah.
And I was using it for a while and I stopped using it, but it did help me. So I'm just like, dude, just do it. And you can do it for 20 minutes, but like my problem is if I set a timer for 20 minutes, I'll still like end up checking my phone for some dumb shit.
Yeah, me
and
too.
Then do you ever do this thing where like you mean to check? You're like, I need to look at that message from somebody on Instagram. And all of a sudden, 5 minutes later, you're just scrolling. And you're like, what the fuck am I doing?
Dude, social media is like, it's so awesome. Because like I said, you can reach so many people. And it's free. Social media is free. Like we should all be on it. But yeah, it's such a distraction.
Yeah. I mean, I think you're right. Like Laurel, she's like 3/4 of my clients are from Instagram.
Yeah.
So I do understand the value of it.
Yeah.
But for the average person, especially if you're not building a business, it can be a huge
you're just consuming.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like the only way I'm going to make it is social media, like podcasting. I mean, like how else would I distribute it other than YouTube or Instagram, TikTok, etc. But
yeah, I have a quote in my house that says, "Create more than you consume," and I try to remember that because I love making videos and reels and photos and like being on social, like being creative, I think is very important in life, no matter what aspect, whether it's like music, art. And for me, like social media kind of gives me that, you know, like creative exposure. So it's fun.
Yeah. I have, speaking of that, I have this, I don't know if it's a quote, but I have this thing when I feel that I live by where I need a balance of creating and consuming. And probably I do need to create more than I consume, but like, for example, travel to me is all consumption. Like you're consuming like the world around you, which I think is important. It's not like consuming like entertainment on TV. You're going and experiencing the world.
Totally.
But you're still receiving. And so after like a week to 2 weeks of just traveling or just being on vacation, I get itchy.
Yeah.
I'm like, I need to make something again. But if all I do is make things, then I get like overwhelmed or burn out. And I'm like, I need to take a break and just enjoy the world around me, like the beauty of nature, relationships, etc. So I have to have that balance. And either one on too much will like make me irritated or I don't know, I just feel like uncomfortable or itchy to do the other one.
I can relate. It comes in waves for me too, in a sense of like I get like burnt out, like almost, maybe not, but like on social. And then I try to find that spark again. And so it'll eventually kind of come around and I'll try to, like, I've done like a sweep on my social where it's like, I try to really have people on there that like inspire me in some way, shape, or form, or at least that like come up on my feed often.
Yeah.
And anything that does the opposite, it's like we don't need to be having that.
Do you ever deal with one of the things? Might be like just like because I'm starting out as like a podcaster, photo video. Like I'll have these inspirational people, but they will inevitably make me jealous and be like, why am I not that good yet? And so I'm like, in part, I started following them because they're an inspiration.
Yeah.
And then I find myself being like, dude, I'm never going to be as good as them.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's like you have to do what you say you're going to do.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, what inspiration are you finding from them? Write that down and then like make it your own.
Yeah.
And then you're going to feel accomplished. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think like you've come so far and you're like putting out some great things. Yeah. And so I think it's important to like stop and like give yourself that credit.
Yeah. Have you ever done a vision board?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Okay. I love a vision board.
So I have a vision board. I need to re-update mine, but there's also I heard of somewhere this guy was like he does 3 different boards. One's a vision and one's something else, but one's like a past accomplishment board. And so he used that to basically for that reason, because sometimes you feel like you haven't gotten anywhere.
Totally.
So then he's like, I can look at my past and I'm like, holy shit, like 5 years ago, I didn't do any of this. And then I did this. Look at all this stuff that I have accomplished or I have.
Totally.
And sometimes we forget about those things.
Yeah. I do it all the time. I'm right there with you.
Yeah.
I feel like I always am like, shit, I'm not doing enough. I could just make one more call, talk to one more person, or you know what I mean? But yeah, at the end of the day, like we're doing a lot more than other people are doing at all.
Yeah. And it goes back to too, like it's the journey, not the destination, which is what I've really tried to focus on because I mean, you could do 5 times as much as you do to like now, and you will still not be doing as much as Tony Robbins is doing, or whoever, like you're still, there's always going to be somebody who's doing more.
Yeah.
And even if you're doing that, I guarantee that guy's probably still like, I can reach more people. I could feed more people. I could do more things. Like, and so you have to enjoy your own journey and your own progress.
Yeah.
And I constantly get struggled like, oh, if only I get to this point, that'll make me happy. I'm like, no, it won't.
Yeah.
No, like you'll still like have all these other ideas.
Yeah. And there's going to be a problem at that point also.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another of my struggles is like, I'm super, super creative and I want to do so many things. And people, like a lot of my friends are like, you need to niche down.
Yeah.
You need to do this. And I have an aversion to that. And I'm just like, no, I'm going to do all these things, but it's going to take me longer to get anywhere.
Yeah.
And then also like with my days, it's like, oh, it's not just the podcast I want to do. Like I want to make some music over here.
Yeah.
And I want to do this YouTube live thing over here.
Yeah.
And I want to create like do these fun photo shoots, whatever. So that's also been like a struggle of trying to figure out time to do all these like little random things.
Definitely got a time block.
Yeah. I'm gonna have to learn how.
Yeah. I'll help you.
It's a work in progress. So what's your time block? Like, do you have like on a calendar, do you have like 2-hour blocks?
I use my calendar a lot. My calendar is my best friend. Oh my gosh. I even schedule in like lunches with friends or whatever. Like if it's not on the calendar, I'm gonna forget, it changes. Like I experiment with like what time I want to for sure be at the office, but then that comes back to like somebody calls me and they need me at a house in Caldwell and now I'm driving to Caldwell, so don't get me wrong. Like I don't stick to mine either, like through and through, but I try my best to. But for me, like the gym, that's a non-negotiable. That's a good way to look at it. Like you should have your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And then everything else, you have to adapt,
Right.
And so that's a non-negotiable. And then I try to hit the office like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Like that's where I'm like really dialed in on like office work. And then I try like to kind of just be more flexible, like Mondays and Fridays for like a little bit of more like me time, and stuff like that. Yeah. Because my weekends are usually like open houses and clients too.
Fridays are you're like one day asleep the night before.
I try, yeah. Yeah.
Or 1 hour.
I finally got blacked out curtains. So like those have been my savior.
Nice.
Yeah.
See, I like sleeping, like I live in the garage and there's no windows.
Yeah.
So it can be
dark.
pitch. So it's easy to sleep, but it's really hard to get up.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you just said this. I have to say, the one thing that I firmly believe has turned me into a 5 a.m. morning gym girly is a Hatch alarm clock.
What's that?
Do you know what that is?
Is it the one that lights up?
Dude, when I tell you, everybody should have one of these in their house. I don't care who they are or what they do. I live like for this thing. Yeah, so it does like the morning sunrise. Yeah. So you can start at like 30 minutes, 10 minutes before whenever it's going to go off. But it'll like slowly creep up, like the light will get brighter and you can change like the sounds. But I tell you, like when my phone alarm goes off, I am very different compared to like when my Hatch alarm like goes off. Yeah. You wake up, it's just not like abrasive.
Yeah.
It's the best thing on this planet.
So I have one. Yes. And I kind of use it, but what do you do when you're turned away from it and you're just like in the
Put it away from you, so you have to physically get up and you have to walk over there and turn it off.
Okay, yeah. See,
maybe
I have
that's a good hack.
Yeah, that is a good hack because I have one right by my bed. Yeah. But like, like when it starts to light up, and you know how like if you hit the snooze on it doesn't turn the light out.
Totally.
Right. It still keeps it on, so that's good. But like I can put my head in my covers and like
you'll have to put it. Put it somewhere you have to get up.
Okay. I do have, so I have that. Yeah. And then I have my Philips Hue, which is like all the lights in the room.
I do too.
They can turn on to the same time. Yeah. So then I have them all brighten up because I have to have something.
Yeah.
Totally. I have zero sunlight coming in.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
It is a problem. I live for that thing.
I knew that I got it when I moved to the garage. Like, I was like, dude, it is like nuts. Yeah.
That is
I slept till like noon a couple days. Like, what is happening?
It is my favorite purchase in my house.
Yeah.
Like I am not shitting you. I love that thing.
Yeah.
And because I had tried to be like the 5 a.m. gym goer for 8 months, 6 to 8 months. And I kept like snoozing my alarm and I would snooze my alarm on my phone and kept trying different techniques. And I also like, I could not get it down. And that is what helped me.
One of my struggles with that is it's like necessity. Like I can't, like if I work at, say like if I'm going to Rudy's and I work in the AM, I work at 10:30. So I need to get up by 7:30 to have enough time to go to the gym, get home, get showered, eat, and go. So then I can force myself to get up at 7:30.
Yeah.
But if I don't have that, like everything, I'm like, well, I don't need, so I can set or can ring my alarm, but then I'm like, but I don't need to.
Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, fuck it, I'm not doing it.
Yeah.
And that has been like a hurdle of mine where I'm like, I can't, if I like, and I don't even need to be a 5 a.m. dude. If I could be a 7 a.m. dude, I would be happy.
Yeah.
And yeah.
I love that. You'll figure it out. My struggle too is like, I love early mornings and I love really late night. Like I love the dark. Like the dark is where like I find like a lot of peace. Like the world's quiet still.
Sure.
The roads are quiet. Like everything's just like peaceful. And that's where I feel like my most like energy and like creativity. I feel like you would be the same way too. Like if you like woke up really early and it was just like peaceful.
Yeah.
Like you would be just so much more productive and you'd have so much more done before noon. And then you'd be like, oh shit, like now I get to chill and do whatever,
Right.
And then you could really do like the hobbies and things you love.
So when do you go to bed?
Now that I'm prioritizing rest.
Now that you're doing 5 a.m.
Yeah.
And then
I am trying to get like freaking knocked out by like 9-10.
See, I would have to because I need 8 hours of sleep.
Like I try, but it's hard.
Because I don't get to bed till like midnight.
Yeah.
Easily.
I get sleepy like when I'm like laying on the couch and stuff. Yeah. Watching TV. Like I fall asleep on my couch a lot.
Well, and that's what like some of the guys that are early morning people, they're like, if you force yourself to get up early, you will eventually pass out early just because you're tired. But you have to like get through those couple days.
Yeah.
But yeah, I have such a hard time going to bed that early.
Yeah.
And I have this thing right now. I was talking about, like, speaking of time blocks. In the winter, I like tank after it gets dark.
Yeah.
And so because it takes me like 2 to 3 hours at the gym, if I get up at 8 and get to the gym by 9, by the time I'm getting started, it's like noon. So that's a problem. So they're like, well, why don't you use, and I love the gym. So they're like, why don't you use the gym as a reward and like get up and just do 4 or 5 hours of work, then take a break and go. So I was going to try that. And then, use your second win to like work through like, because like none of my, time stuff really matters where I put it for the most part. But I do, it does feel like I'm wasting daylight when I'm not getting up till 9, but it gets light at 7. So like, what are you doing? Like, you might as well utilize the daylight. Because once it gets dark at night, you're, you're tanking. But if I got up at 6 and then I was done by 9, like then I would have all this time.
You'd have so much time.
Getting up early is so
You'll
hard.
eventually fall in love. I swear. I feel like a lot of people are like not morning people. So there's like this little crowd who like wouldn't love it, but for the most part,
I don't think I'm a morning person, but I mean, I guess I could be wrong, but I also like after a certain point at night, like I don't want to do any work. Like I'm over it. So even though I'm awake, I'm just like, dude, I'm tired,
I make healthier choices in my day when I go to the gym in the morning.
Right.
Like I know I won't make it in the evening if I say I'm gonna go
I wouldn't be able to
later.
make it if I worked all day.
I never ever made it in the evening.
Or I do it a lot less.
Yeah.
But and then I also hate going to 5 because that's when everybody goes, and that's annoying.
My gym is kind of, today it was the busiest I had like ever seen it. But we're going into that season of everybody. Everybody's gonna be in the gym. So I mean,
where do you go?
Yeah. I go to Crunch now.
Okay.
I used to go to Vertical View, that big rock climbing gym.
Oh, that one over on the...
If you're going down the freeway, you definitely pass it.
My roommate works there. That's funny.
Yeah?
Yeah.
I went there for a long, long, long time.
Do they have a gym too?
Yeah, they have like little areas like weights and they have like racks and stuff like that and classes. I switched to Crunch for pure convenience. It's across the street. And going into winter, it's like trekking through the snow and so you know what I mean. It's just so easy.
Well, and that's so I go to Planet Fitness, which is right down the road. But I was at Axiom, right? I've gone to Axiom, but it's 20 minutes drive. So like it takes so long.
We were just talking about it.
So annoying. So I'm trying to cut out those times.
Yeah. And you have to just make it enjoyable. Like you'll continue to do something you actually like doing.
See, and I actually do love going to the gym. I love lifting. I love how I feel. I like all that stuff. So that's why I've always done it first. But it does feel like I think I would go anyway if I waited for 4 hours and then go. And there's all these things that I avoid that I don't want to do, like editing. And shit.
I wonder if you were like packed up your stuff, went to a coffee shop, you're gym ready. You worked at a coffee shop.
Oh, that's smart.
And then went straight to the gym.
That's a good
idea. You don't even come home until like after like, however many hours.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be like an extensive amount of time.
Yeah. I mean, dude, if I have a friend who had told me that. She's like, yeah, I just wake up and at least do 2 hours of work.
Exactly.
And then do some other stuff. But at least like, even if the rest of your day is fucked, you still get 2 hours instead of none.
I'm right there with that. I agree.
Yeah. I am a man. When I make it, it's gonna be a shocker. Cause like I am so undisciplined. Like I'm like chaotic. But I know that there are people that are chaotic and crazy and they
successful.
They do it, So who knows?
Totally. It'll all fall into place.
Yeah. I am a firm believer that like if you never stop, like if you chase your goal, even if it takes you 10 years, you will outlast all the other people.
Totally.
So it might take you longer, but you still get there. But the only people that aren't successful, they eventually stop.
Yeah. A lot of people give up too early.
Yeah. And I mean, like when back to managing two things.
Yeah.
I went back to the bar and that was an ego. I had to check my ego on that one because that felt really embarrassing to come back to bartending a little bit.
Yeah.
But I actually find that I enjoy it because I work 2 shifts a week.
Yeah.
And it's enough to give me some stability. But more importantly, like I was going nuts in my house, like just only working on like business building and editing and content and like not seeing anyone. And so this has given me like the socialness back, and it really has helped my like mental headspace.
Totally. And I feel like it's a great place even in your business to like lead gen. Like we meet so many people as bartenders, like on all stages of life.
Yeah, for sure. I like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand that too, like the ego things. It's like a lot of like my most asked question on the history of planet Earth is why am I still bartending? And it's hard. Like I don't think a lot of people grasp where it's like I do still enjoy it and I love money.
Yeah.
Like I don't think that you can make too much money, So it's like I don't know. I'm gonna ride the wave as long as I can.
Yeah. And I think I mean, I love like I don't even make that much money bartending.
Yeah.
Like I think that I could make way more money if I was like completely full-time video and I had all the jobs.
Totally.
Like I could probably make more.
Yeah.
But I don't think I would be as happy.
Yeah.
And I would like I need that like release. I like to be able to work in a different way. Like I can't just sit at my computer and edit. Like I need to step away from that.
Totally.
And one of my passions is the podcast, which then requires editing.
Yeah.
So then if I'm doing that and then also editing for other people, I get burnt out.
Oh yeah. It's a lot of editing.
But I also love bartending so much that like I have this vision of me when I'm like 80.
Yeah.
And even though I'm retired and doing whatever I want, I kind of like think I'll probably own like some little beach bar in like the Caribbean or some shit and have like a few drinks and just meet tourists. And just be like hearing stories and talking.
I love
because
that.
I fucking love it.
Yeah. It's fun. You meet a lot of people. Networking is going to get you so much further than anything ever else. Like, well, so it's like,
yeah, the network is like, I feel like my buddy Luke, he runs a media company, and he says that, like of any business, 10% is skill set, 90% is network.
Totally.
And I feel like I have the skill set. Now I have to like meet the right people, etc. And so, you do that by being out there and whatever.
Yeah.
That's another reason why I would tell myself I need to drink so I can go to bars, but you don't actually have to,
Totally. I think I'm trying to think back too, like there was a few times I did my little like out of office work. I went to Topgolf with my MacBook, sat at the bar top. I had an NA beer, I think. I don't remember, or like a soda water with the lime and something. And I met like all these people around me. They asked me to go golf with them and I joined their party and it was such a blast. And it's like, people I got to connect with and potential clients. And it's like, you have to be in the field, like meeting people.
Yeah. So speaking of network people.
I don't. I top golf. Does that count?
I mean, I don't know. So I'm determined to do this.
Like, I want to golf. I just said that yesterday.
Yeah. And I've been saying it for like 2 years, but like, I know so many people and they're like, dude, you meet so many connections golfing. And I'm like, I gotta learn.
Yeah.
And I do like sports. I like doing stuff, but so I'm like, next year I have to start learning.
I think Topgolf, there's a lot of people there too.
Yeah, for sure. But I end up like being in like this that one booth with my friends, and then I don't meet anybody else.
Totally.
But
totally.
I got to figure that out. The other thing I wanted to use, so I have the 360 photo booth. I don't know if I've shown you this, but
I know what you're talking about. I didn't know you had one.
So I got a new one. So I want to try to like run it at golf tournaments, weddings. So it's quick money. Like, I can make a couple $100 in the evening, but also you just meet like people after people after people.
I am going to remember that. That would be that would be a great thing to have at any event.
Yeah. So I bought it and it only just came in last week. So I think I'm a little late for this season, even though I'm trying to like run 1 or 2 events this Christmas. But then like all the restaurants probably have their Christmas parties in January.
Yeah.
And then I can run it. I mean, I could look at like church events. I could like do schools for like homecoming / prom. But then I thought like golf tournaments all summer and then wedding venues.
Yeah.
And then eventually as you meet more people, you do more events. then you just get talking to people. It's so fun. It's always a hit. Like I use it for the charity that I work for.
Yeah.
And it's always such a hit. People are like just so excited about it.
That is so smart.
Then you meet these people. You also get all their phone numbers because their phone numbers are put into your app. So you literally have a drip list if you want, which I have to work on that.
That is key.
Yeah.
Yeah. Filling your database. Like that's all we talk about.
Yeah. See, that's something that I might need you to teach me.
Yeah.
I need to do that.
Yeah. Like we really try to dial in growing our database and how we can do that.
I think I remember when you're like, hey, can I get your email? I have to get like 500 people.
Yeah. Yeah. And so continuously doing that and making sure it's always growing.
Yeah. And
totally.
The thing is that staying in front of people in general, it's like, I know that I have a ton of friends that probably hire people that aren't me because they forgot that I did it.
Totally.
And so if you're just in front of them once a month or whatever. But yeah, so that's like a thing that I want to do this next year.
Yeah.
That is good for networking and it's fun.
It is.
Also, there's no back end, so I don't have to edit anything. Like the video that's made goes right to their phone and they just have it right there.
Oh my God.
So I was like, oh, a thing that I can go do, meet people, have fun, and don't have to do any of the posts.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'll have to get some ads out on that because I feel like that would be a hit.
Yeah.
In so many departments.
Yeah, and from what I can tell, like nobody else does it.
No, I've never heard
like
of
a few.
I really feel like I don't see them ever.
Yeah. So I'm gonna work on that a little bit. It was fun for me, like when we did it for the event. I was like, this is a really good time.
Yeah.
And everybody's having a blast. They're already at a party. You create something cool, like, oh my God, that's so awesome.
Yeah.
And then if they, if you meet them and they're like, holy shit, you do video work too.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah. No, I think that's so creative. Like even if isn't there's always going to be another company or another person doing it, but word of mouth,
Yeah, well, I'll show you. I put the one on my Insta. Yeah, I need to create like a little reel of them, but
yeah, dude, they're so fun.
Yeah, and then you can do you can create like little sparklers like on the side.
Oh yeah, I've seen videos like that.
You can do like the money gun. That looks really cool.
Money gun's always cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Guess I've seen the money gun at the club a couple times.
Time or two.
Yeah. I bought one that has like fake 100s, but they don't fly the same because they're like a little light.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I get like personally, I guess is one of my struggles, but I can't stick to one thing always. So I just get like bored and then
you know what we do? You might like this too. We work our business in 12 weeks. Okay. And so we do a 12-week goal, so quarterly. We do a 12-week goal and then we break it down into three top priorities and then strategies within those three priorities and those three priorities are my focus for the next quarter. And you'd be so surprised at how fast the 12 weeks comes up, you know what I mean? And then you're doing another one. But maybe that could be a good way for you to structure.
So what's an example of
for me,
3 priorities in a quarter?
Yeah, I had put a certain amount that I wanted to make this quarter. And then for me, my 3 priorities were kind of my ways of lead genning. And so for me, my first one was cold calls.
Yeah.
Super important. I don't think a lot of people do it. And so I just want to get better at it and just continue to do it. Yeah. One of my really good friends, he always says, smile and dial. And so it's when you get into your head too much, you don't pick up the phone.
Yeah.
So I try to just remember to just shut up and call.
Yeah.
My second one was open houses. That is really important to do open houses every weekend. And then my third one was community. And so I just want to continue to be involved, within the community and volunteering and in that way.
Yeah.
Boise's so big on being involved in the community. So I think that that's important if you're in business.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's funny. I used to work for I used to cold call for a living. And that was always my
Did you
like,
hate
smile
it?
and down. Oh, I hated it so much.
I think most people do. And don't get me wrong, like, you know, you get a lot of people who don't love that, but you also get business from it. So it's like,
right.
Yeah, you just have to do it.
Yeah, that's like something that I haven't done that much in photo video, but that it still applies. Like, for example, I would like to do more real estate videos, and I've done quite a bit, but nobody's gonna know unless you call real estate agents, offices, etc. And you know, hey, who's in charge of, you know, whatever? Hey, can I send you this, even if it's just getting an email to start a communication open, you know? And I mean, I've done like a touch, but barely any.
Yeah. And I think having like a database where you can like track all of that and have everything like organized.
Right.
Well, like it's easier when things are actually like physically put in front of you. You know what I mean? So it's like if you can put all these ideas and stuff like down on paper and just like even when 2 weeks from now you wake up and you're not in the mood, it's like, okay, well, we're going to follow the plan, not our mood, because we know that motivation isn't there every day.
Yeah.
You know, and so that's what's important.
That's such a hard thing because especially when you run your own business.
Yeah, for sure.
Like when I worked at the cold calling place, I didn't want to, but you had to because you were at work. But when you're doing it for yourself, you're like, well, I don't have to.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, I think there's a D word that people use in business that I don't know much about. Discipline.
Oh my goodness. I'm sitting here like, what is this word?
Yeah, I still haven't figured out what it means. But
no, it's so true. Like,
especially with us like creatives in general, we're just like, oh, we need the motivation to do something, but motivation comes and goes.
I always tell, okay, so my favorite quote on the planet is you can't motivate people, but you can inspire them. And it's like, I really like, for me, showing up like in the gym and stuff like that on social, like at 5 a.m, like I try to like lead by example. And I think like putting that stuff out there helps like other people because like we're definitely not alone. Like there's people who experience exactly what you're experiencing. So I think like being vocal about it and being out there, like, you know, I think it's a form of accountability as well.
Yeah.
But
I will say that when I wake up at 10 a.m. and I see your 5 a.m. posts, I am so motivated.
No, you're not. But like, gosh dang her.
No, I actually, I don't look at a lot of stories too often. I do a little bit, but
I'm the same way.
I find more of the FOMO when I like, because you see people like on their vacations. You're like, God damn it.
Totally.
But I do still like to post in the stories and stuff. But I am hoping, I told you about the YouTube live thing.
Yeah.
Not only do I think that will be a discipline thing, that it's just like no matter what you have to do this thing, but it also is scary because like ideally I'm like just gonna turn on a camera and talk, and like I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm talking for. I'm just like gonna go, but I think ultimately it'll help me.
Oh, totally.
To, like articulate what I'm thinking, feeling, etc., and then putting it out there to the universe.
After a few of those, you're gonna be a pro in no time.
Yeah. Have you ever thought about doing a podcast?
You know, yes. But then I think of the same thing. Like, what the hell am I going to talk about? But you know what I love to talk about? I talk about self-care. Like, I love self-care, and like it looks different for everybody. You know what I mean?
You're talking about bubble bath?
But yeah, you know, for some people it's bubble baths.
For other people, it's gym at 5 a.m.
Yeah. I actually took my first bubble bath like 2 weeks ago. First time in like years.
Really?
It was fun.
I'm not a bath person.
Me neither.
I can't handle hot water.
Me neither.
So I'll sit in it for like 5 minutes. I'm like, all right,
it's hot.
Yeah.
I agree. And so like, and then I think about like, okay, well, that would be a cool like thing to dial in, but then there's so much already out there like that. But then again, like nobody's you.
Right.
So it's like you have your own experiences, your own walks of life, like that you can share. And
that's like such the thing that, I mean, I'm sure you dealt with this when you got into real estate, but everything that you want to do, the first hurdle is you tell yourself you shouldn't do it because there's so many people that have already done it.
Yeah, totally.
You know, like when people say about real estate, they're like, oh, it's already saturated. There's already a million real estate agents. And same with the podcast. Like everybody already started their own podcast. And so there's always a reason not to. But like I've always said, I don't always say it, but the way I think about it is it's like, oh, well, there's a million people that play guitar. But if you want to play guitar, does that mean you shouldn't pick it up? Like Stevie Ray Vaughan already exists. So why are you even picking up the guitar? That's not a reason.
Exactly.
Like, so, yeah. And then as long as you did it more and then you have your own personality.
Yeah.
Then, yeah. You can
I
still
agree.
be successful.
And people like gravitate like, towards you, like being authentic and talking about like your experiences. So
yeah. I was just curious because I don't know if it was Gary Vee or somebody, but they're like, basically, if you own your own business, you should have a podcast. Like, it's like a free way to bring eyeballs into your things, even if it's just like you get the clips out of it, you post them on your
and that's what I would like out of it, just like like the little snippets that you post on social. But yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, one of these days.
Yeah, this is. Yeah, mark my words. One of these days, it's on recording.
There's too many. Like, one of the things that I have figured out about myself is when I have an idea to do something, it normally takes me about 2 years to start it after I've had the idea.
At least you started it.
Yeah. It took me 2 years on the podcast. And there's some other things. And now I'm trying to up that time. But, like, I want to do some stand-up comedy.
Yeah.
That's another thing to add to the fucking plate. Yeah. But I had the idea probably January or February last year. I'm like, I think I want to try this. I mean, I had it years ago, but like not really. But I started actually writing jokes and stuff. And then I still haven't actually dipped my toe. Yeah. And I can just feel all of the reasons, like the excuses why I'm not doing it. Oh, I haven't practiced my 5 minutes enough yet. Yeah. And at some point I think I'm gonna just have to stand in front of people with unprepared and just start telling a story or two, because all of this it's like the preparation procrastination. I'm like, oh, I'm not prepared enough yet.
Yeah.
So
I can relate to that, because when it comes like circling back to like social media, like I wanted to show up on social so much more than I did. I still was on there a pretty good amount, but I wanted to do more. But I was like, oh, I need a fancy new camera. My house isn't the fanciest house. It's not clean enough. It's not nice enough. I don't, and then it's like, what the hell am I saying? Like, I have an iPhone. These phones shoot fine. Like,
really
you just have to show up. And there's so many people out there who are doing well off their iPhone.
Yeah.
So it's, like, we're not going to always have every little thing.
Dude, all the OnlyFans girls I follow, they just use iPhones.
Exactly.
I'm actually like, sometimes I'll hit up a girl or two and being like, hey, do you need some like video work? And then I realize I'm like, they're not gonna pay me. They literally make all their shit on their iPhone and with like a ring light or something.
Yeah.
But
they got the setup.
Yeah, and then that's why I've there's certain video that I think that people will pay a lot of money for. Like, you don't want, like, people aren't going to shoot $1 million house with with an iPhone
for sure.
But people are going to do their talking head shit with an iPhone. So like, what do they need me for? So I've kind of tried to think about that where I want to market my stuff, because
that's a good point.
Yeah, I mean, you can do so much. I mean, the iPhone, what is it at 15 now?
I think it's at 16, and I saw a picture recently from it, and it was insane.
Yeah, like, so good.
Yeah,
and then you just get like a little ring light, or
for sure.
And when I think about, like, people think about their backdrops and like how much they need, like the plant in the back. I mean, I think about this shit right here, but at the end of the day, like, people really don't care that much. Like, they're gonna look at the talking head, and the rest of it's gonna be blurry anyway. If you use that setting, and so it doesn't really matter.
There's a lot to be done that we already have. At our fingertips, for sure.
And actually, so the last guest I had on, Gary, he was the one who challenged me about going to 1 camera instead of 3.
Yeah.
Because he was like, why do you need all this other stuff? And I was like, well, I was trying to explain it. I'm not getting caught up in why, but one of the things is like I can't put out subpar content because my content has to be pristine at every level, or that's like how I'm thinking about it. And he's just like, yeah, but why? Like, when people see your other content, they can see that you have very professional content, and that's just your podcast stuff. And I was like, right.
Yeah.
And I also think that, and this will be like probably my first try of like, but like when you have the wide, and like you can still zoom in on the clips, and it still looks good. So why does it have to be over there versus over there?
Totally.
I'm like, I don't really know. Like, because I want it to be the best. But then he's like, yeah, but by being like the absolute best, you're only doing it once a month.
Yeah.
You want to do it once a week. I'm like, fuck, dude, you might be right. Yeah. I actually texted him today, and I was like, I'm going to try your advice. Like, try to like get some of this stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah, actually, a lot of these ideas, like that idea came from him. And then the YouTube live thing came from my buddy. You know Mick Dulhunty?
I don't know.
He's a real estate agent.
Yeah.
And he also he gave me the idea of your non-negotiables.
Yeah.
And he has like his 3 a day that he does.
Yeah.
But yeah, he was like, why don't you start just putting out a video on YouTube every day? Because he's like, he follows a guy who does stuff every day. And he's like, dude, he just gets more and more people watching.
Yeah, totally.
So I was like, that's a good idea.
I love that so much.
Yeah. But I think that perfectionism is like such a hurdle.
Yeah. I think a lot of us do it.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't want to be seen as less than your peers.
Totally. Dude, screw that.
Yeah. I mean, I know, right?
Yeah.
Or to your clients, you know.
For sure.
Oh, they have to think that I'm like the best. But I mean, if I'm already talking about strippers and drugs, my clients already know I'm not the best.
This is it, yeah.
Yeah, like, come on now.
Gotta stay in our lane. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. What do you think that you're gonna? So you're gonna manage both for a while.
Yeah. I don't know how much longer, but I've been saying that for years.
Yeah.
And then I continue to go more years.
Are you a person that has like a 10-year plan or a 5-year plan?
Surprisingly, no. Like, I have the cliche things of house, new car, investment properties, but not as, I don't know. Like, I just love being like better than I was the day before. I love being consistent in the gym. I love being able to travel. Like, I feel like I'm already like really rich in life because I can have those slow mornings.
Yeah.
Like, for me, like that is like so fulfilling. But of course, like I want the next best thing, and that's what I'll always like strive for. But then there's gonna be something after that. And something after that.
Huh. I mean, you're only 29. Yeah.
That's close to I guess.
Dude,
so.
I didn't do shit. I'm such a late bloomer. Like, when I was 29, I was like, dude, I have nothing going for my life. Like, I didn't bartending, which is still am, but like I didn't have a house.
Yeah.
So then I was like, that was when I had buckled down and bought a house.
Yeah.
So I was like, I need something by 30. And then I didn't want to get married, and I didn't have kids.
Yeah.
Because a lot of people like that's their fulfillment.
Yeah, for sure.
So that was like a big like, what if I'm 30 and I have nothing, and that started like scaring me.
Yeah.
But now the only thing I have is a house.
Yeah. Okay, that's a big that's something you should be like super proud of.
When I like bought it.
Yeah.
Bought it at a good time and stuff. But,
yeah.
No, like I don't feel that way now. Like I'm wondering if I turn 40 next year.
Yeah. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
You do not seem even remotely close to 40.
I know I'm really immature.
You're like but you're so like youthful.
Yeah. I like living that way.
Yeah.
And I hope that I carry that through even like because I'm pretty contrarian, but I don't want to settle down and be, I don't know. I don't want to be boring.
Yeah. No, I'm right there with you. I agree.
So, but I am curious about like, if I were to get up at 6, I would have to figure out, like, one of my problems is when I get up, even when I get out of bed, I drink 32 ounces of salt water, and I feel like I take my time with that. So I think I should rush through that and get to the gym right away, and then like do what you say is enjoy your time later, because like I end up taking an hour between when I get up and getting out the door.
Yeah.
Even though I've done nothing but drink my pre-workout and some water.
I literally like change my clothes, take my pre-workout. I'm out in 15 minutes.
Yeah.
From when that alarm goes off.
So if I were to do that,
I give myself no option for snooze.
Because I do really like the idea of being up early. I don't like getting up, but I like the idea of getting to the gym. And if I'm there, and I do dilly-dally at the gym, but if I were to like kind of work through my shift, I would be out there in 2 hours. And so say I was home by 8:30, and then I dicked off for an hour till 9:30. I mean, I would make breakfast and stuff. Yeah. But then it's like, that would be when I would normally be waking up right now, and then I would already be ready to be working on stuff. And
then you would feel like already accomplished that early. Yeah. You know? And I think that like we need those wins within ourselves, like to continue, you know, because it's like if you keep feeling like you're putting yourself down and you're like, shit, I said I was gonna do this thing and I didn't, you know, like you need those wins.
Yeah, I agree. And then, I mean, I was talking to somebody the other day, but it's just like all of the things that I avoid, the things that seem hard or like, fuck, I don't want to do this. Yeah. When I don't do them, I feel worse. And when I do the things that I don't want to do, I feel way better. Yeah. And I'm like, so I know it's counterintuitive, but I'm like, but you still avoid them. And I'm like, even if I went for 3 days in a row doing the things that I want to, I feel so much better. I'm like, holy shit, look at all I did. And then fast forward 2 days later and I'm still avoiding shit, even though I just learned that I feel better doing those things. It's very strange.
Yeah. We're interesting people.
Yeah. Humans are just you and
I. I know.
I think it's not
I'm like, just us. No. Everybody. They all have their own little quirks.
Yeah.
And nobody, like, not everybody has it figured out. I don't have it figured out, you know.
Well, it seems like it.
It's not true.
That's one of the things that I really like to try to put out there. No, I don't think everybody can, but I try to put out like failures, disappointments, like things I'm struggling with. And I've got like some flack. Like my dad, I was talking to him one day. He's like, "Hey, I heard that you were posting about this and this." Yeah. And he's like, "You can't be putting that out there. You're a business owner." And I'm like, I just get annoyed when I see, because all these business owners, it looks like they have it all together. Yeah. And I like know that they don't.
Yeah, there's no way.
But I'm sure there's a balance.
Yeah, for sure. I think failure is like inevitable.
Yeah.
You're gonna have a lot more of that before you succeed.
Yeah. You know? Oh God. The failures are just.
I was I hope I can remember this. There was a quote that I saw, and it was talking about getting to know faster. So the faster you get through 3 or 4 no's, you'll finally get to that yes. And it kind of helps you like pick up the pace, like, you know what I mean? Versus like trying to avoid the hard questions because you know this client isn't going to want to work with you or what, like just get through them. Yeah. You know what I mean? Because then you'll get to that yes faster. And so I love that.
I do like that.
Yeah.
Me and my buddy Joe were talking about this. We were talking about on the podcast, but we hang out a lot. We were talking about our friends that are incels, or like that have not been with a girl for a long time. And we were talking about like going and meeting girls and stuff. And I learned that philosophy in sales is like called collecting no's. But so you're like, instead of making it a goal of, hey, how, like, can I go talk to a girl and get a yes? Yeah. Why don't you just like try to see how many no's you can get? So we had this plan of like just for fun to go and try to meet girls. Yeah. And see like the first person to get 10 no's wins.
That's hilarious.
And like so now it's you're gamifying the no instead of the yes. And I'm like, inevitably, if you try to get 10 no's, you're gonna get a yes. Yeah. In between.
It's a numbers game.
Right. But like instead of seeing as the yes is the win, the no's are the win.
Dude, it's all perspective. Yeah. Everything in life.
Yeah, because I was like, I haven't really like went and met girls in a while. Me neither. It's like, we should go out a day and just see if we can get a bunch of no's. And we're like, hell yeah.
That's so funny. I love that. Yeah. It definitely changes the way you look at everything.
But yeah, because I mean, I don't like when I'm trying to get my like video work out there. Yeah, it hurts when people are like, oh yeah. Totally. I want to work with you. I'm like, damn it. But it's like, no, just find like 5 more of those people. And then you're going to get Yeah. That's another on to the next is big sales.
Yeah. I always try to like live like that. Like if I had a really hard transaction or kind of like 5-second funeral, you know, it's like, let's just get on to the next. Like put this energy elsewhere.
I worked with a guy. He just had a big sign that said "next" on his desk. So every time he would have like a frustrating no. Like, next. Okay.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah. I mean, I don't love sales, even though I think it's important in all aspects of life.
Yeah.
But I definitely learned a lot when I worked like cold calling, especially.
Yeah, for sure. And it's such an old school tactic.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, like in this day and age, like I get cold called left and right, and I'm like, what? Don't cold call me.
Yeah, I don't even answer the phone, but you, I guess,
I have to.
all your phone.
Yeah. So, but our phones are pretty smart these days. It kind of tells you.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's a scammer.
Do you ever do door knocking?
No, I did a while ago. I haven't in a long time. I want to do it again. Like, it's super helpful when you do it before like an open house. Because then it gives you a reason to, you're in the neighborhood versus like just knocking a random neighborhood.
Right.
But I do prefer being in front of somebody versus on the phone.
Right.
Because, you know, it's way more to be like personable and just easy. Yeah. But then again, you're also at their front door. So it's like, I don't like when people are knocking at my door.
Yeah.
You know?
I don't really deal with it too much, but I sold solar for a while.
Oh, I have got some friends who've done that.
We were supposed to door knock the neighborhood before or after the appointment. And then especially if you sell somebody, you're like, hey, you know, your neighbors signing up for solar. I just was curious if you're interested in it, blah, blah, blah. But I hated it. Oh my God.
For sure.
But then like some of my like coworkers, especially the Mormons,
they're so good at it.
So good at it. I'm like, if you can sell Jesus for 2 years, or I guess Joseph,
you
know, for 2 years and just get no all the time, like you can sell anything.
Yeah. I had some friends who were professionals at door knocking.
Yeah.
Like, holy cow. I think they were selling like pest control.
Yeah.
They were so good at it.
I just keep it in my mind. I'm like, if you get good enough and build a big enough network, they'll just come to you.
Yeah.
Like, that's like the ideal. Though.
Totally.
But who knows when we'll get there.
It's people are so busy. So like even like for me in business, like I keep business cards on me, but I never hand them out. Like I always like, oh, let me get your contact. Because I already know they're going to set that down or it might end up in the trash. Like they're going to forget because they're busy too. You know, people have jobs and lives and families. And so like, I've tried to just like really dial in on like, I need to be calling, I need to be texting, I need to be emailing because like they're not going to call me.
So when you get the contact, then you put it in the database. That's another thing that I think Tyler taught me that, but he's like, I don't keep business cards on me. So when somebody says,
I just do, but
I have a business, or do you have a business card? He says, no, but let me send you my information. So then he gets their number, sends his info, but now he has a number, and he puts that in his database.
Yeah.
And I've tried to do it because I don't have a business card. But so I've tried to like do that thing, except I don't have a database, so then I just get their number and do nothing with it.
Dude, your whole contacts list is your database.
Yeah.
You'll just have to get like a CRM.
Yeah.
And then like really dial that in.
And what is a CRM?
It's gonna be like where you can put all of you. Are you being funny?
Yeah. No,
so get one of those.
I always say this shit about stuff that I don't do. Like, what is discipline?
Yeah. Dude, I swear, like any entrepreneur should have one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, so I was thinking about this the other day, and it's not just real estate agents that should have them. Like any entrepreneur should have them.
Well, so speaking of, so I actually started going through my contacts. This is probably like 5 months ago.
Yeah.
I wanted to build a database. And I wanted to start an email list.
Yeah.
And so I was going to text everybody and be like, hey, can I get your email? I want to just keep you updated. And I was going to be like, swore to myself, I wouldn't sell anyone. Like, I just wanted to stay in front of them. But if I stayed in front of people with the work that I was doing, I would get business. You know, but like, hey, here's a link to this new video I made. I just wanted to show you guys. And then, or here's my latest project, or here's some photos I did when I was out at this trip. You know, so as you're putting your work in front of people, they would eventually be like, oh yeah, Josh.
100%.
Right? And I've been recently encouraged because my niece, who is 18, started her own email list. And I'm just like, dude, she's doing it and you're not? Like, come on,
you have
dude.
to.
Yeah.
It's a sign. That's a sign.
So I have to go through the rest of my stuff, and right now I've just been putting them into Excel or whatever. But I know that I can export that into wherever. But yeah, I like in some of the podcasters I follow, they do either a weekly or monthly email list, and they just like keep you updated.
Yeah, some sort of like newsletter.
Yeah.
Totally.
And then you can just you can even express your thoughts and just whatever, but then you're still staying in front of people.
Yeah. It's just an extra touch. I agree.
Yeah. What's I forget his name, the 4-Hour Workweek guy.
I have not. I think that's in my want to read.
Tim Ferriss. I've never read it actually, but I know him. Or I don't know him, but I know him.
I'm like, you know him?
Yeah. Timmy. We call him Timmy.
That's so funny. I know what you're talking about. I've been wanting to read it.
So he has one that he just calls it 5 Bullet Fridays.
Yeah.
And so he never sells anybody, but he obviously is staying in front of people. Yeah. And he just like these 5. He's like, here's the book I'm reading. Here's a movie that I like that I watch. Here's a recommend. Here's this, and he does it every single week. So he's just giving all the time, just giving all this little information. But he's the person you're going to go to when it comes to whatever. You're like reminded of him for going to the podcast or whatever.
That's so important. That's really cool. I'm going to remember that. I think that's important because like in this day and age, like even on social, like you have to be putting out valuable things or else people aren't going to follow you. And it's like, we don't need to be gatekeeping and charging for like all these things. Like that's not how you build trust.
Yeah. Save this video for later. 100%. None of my videos are savable yet. You know, I'm like, save this for a good laugh.
Yeah. What do you mean?
Like I'm more of like I'm giving out entertainment.
Yeah.
Because I don't I'm not giving out like tips and tricks on how to do photography. Like, it's like that's not my MO. So all of mine are more just entertainment or whatever. But there are still reasons to share certain 100%. Things. Like I lean more into the comedic posts from the podcast. Yeah. So ideally, I wouldn't mind to be shared when people are like, "Oh, dude, this is funny." Like, share this with somebody.
I was just gonna say like that, or like I feel like that's also where people can find things like relatable. Like when you're being funny about whatever topic. Right. Like, oh shit, I know what that feels like. Yeah.
Yeah, at some point I would like to do like little skits / if I think of something funny on the podcast and then create like a little something or other, but we'll get there.
Yeah, add it to the list.
Yeah, the list.
The ever-growing list.
Oh my god. Do you want to talk about anything else?
I cannot.
I feel like we're like, I don't know. We're like an hour and a half. It might even be 2 hours. Dude, time flies.
Dude, it does.
I've been trying to keep it under 2 hours. Yeah. We'll go for like 3 sometimes.
Yeah.
But now that I'm not going to try to edit it as much, I might be like, but...
Yeah, for sure. This was awesome.
Yeah. Do you want to plug your stuff?
Do I want to what?
Plug your stuff.
What does that mean?
Your real estate account.
Oh.
A lot of most of my friends don't have anything going on. They're just like, what do you...
I don't know.
I have like 12 listeners, so you can...
Yeah. For the 12 listeners, you can find me on every platform, actually.
Oh, yeah.
Instagram, Facebook, all of the things. Okay, wait, hold on. We're going to need to cut this because now I have to think about this really hard.
Oh. Yeah.
Yeah.
So when I get to the end, that's when I'll cut it.
Actually, don't follow me. Yeah, no,
actually, never mind. Scratch that. My name's Erica.
Yeah. My name is Brittany Brown. You can find me on social.
Yeah. And you're gonna be on my podcast.
I'm searchable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, same. Oh, dude, I have to tell you this. I don't. This is just something I've been thinking about a lot lately. It's nothing to do with me. But remember when Post Malone was in town?
Yeah, recently.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went to Pingilli's.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so I had heard about this, and I was so pissed because I went to bed early that night.
Dang it!
Actually, me and Cinda went to the shed the day, like right before the BSU game. So it was like I remember being cold. It was about to start, and I kind of wanted to just stay there and watch the game, but we were kind of like we've been drinking all day. And I was like, we should just like go home.
Yeah.
So then I wake up the next morning and people are like, oh my God, did you hear Posty was at Penguil's? I'm like, dude, I wish I would have known. I would have like got my ass out of bed and went down there. He's like one of my idols for like just celebrities. And like he's like bucket list for podcasts too. I would love to.
Oh, yeah.
And I've listened to him on a bunch of podcasts. He just seems like the chillest dude. So then I was at Rudy's the next day and hanging out with this guy who is one of my regulars, and he's a cop. And we were talking about the game and stuff, and I was talking about the field pole getting ripped down and stuff. And I was just like, yeah, where were you? Like, you know, getting these hooligans ripping this shit down. And his wife was like, do you know what he was doing? He was protecting and serving. And she's like, no, actually. And they show me a picture, and it's him with Post Malone up in the box. I was like, are you fucking kidding me?
That's amazing.
So then, he's all bragging. I'm like, dude, everybody's seeing Post Malone but me. So then the next day, or 2 days later, my buddy Joe calls me, and he's like, dude, you're never going to believe this. And I'm like, what? And he's like, so he plays music at Anderson Reservoir, who Joanna and them own some of the stuff. And so he plays every Sunday morning, I think. And one of the managers there called and was like, hey, can you play tonight? Posty's going to come in. So he played a private show for Post and like his crew of 8. And it was just them in the restaurant. And he got to play, he played like a 2-hour set. And he's like, dude, the Post was coming up, and he's amazing. Yeah. Like, he's a really good musician. And so he's like, dude, you're so good. And they were talking and stuff. And so I guess they exchanged information. I'm like, dude, you're friends with Post. I'm like, what?
That's so cool.
Yeah. So these are one of those moments where I'm like very happy for my friend, but also this like touch of jealousy. I'm like, God damn it.
That's some serious FOMO.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so I was like, dude, next time he comes, like, because he's coming in, like, June or whatever, to play. I was like, who knows? Like, you could play with them. You could, who knows? But
totally.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It is so crazy. Yeah. I love that, like, when famous people are, like grounded.
Yeah, apparently he's super chill.
Yeah. That's what I've heard too.
Yeah, and I guess I heard there's a rumor that he like might buy a house up here or something.
I was just gonna say I'll sell him a house.
Yeah. Yeah, cause I guess he has a friend up here. They were shooting guns or something.
Yeah.
Out in Emmett or
wherever
the fuck they were. But
that's fun.
I guess he like really loved Anderson Reserve. And so they're like, they're planning on like swinging there next time they come through when they play the show and stuff. So
that's so
the
cool.
manager from there, they're like, keep that date open for those dates open. We might have to play again and stuff. So
that's so cool.
Yeah, right?
I love that.
And I was like, once you start playing music with Post, then we can get you on the podcast.
I was gonna say, you'll have to get him in the seat. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, I feel like him and Rogan and Theo are like 3 people that I really want to be on the podcast.
Of course.
I mean, Rogan probably won't come to this room.
You go to him.
That'd
be kind of cool though.
Yeah, he like every once in a while goes on people's podcasts, but
yeah. Theo's just so funny.
Dude,
and says the craziest things. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's good shit.
Yeah, so he's one of my idols, and I'm not a comedian, but like he's one of those guys. Like when people give me shit about like saying ridiculous stuff or being offensive, I'm like, dude, like Theo Von is huge. Yeah. And he says some of the like
out of pocket stuff,
like whatever. And it doesn't matter. People still love him.
Yeah.
We'll get there.
100%. You will.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah. Thanks
Brittany Brown, everybody.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Yay. We'll wrap it up. Thank you so much.
Of course. Thank you. That's really awesome. I was just going to say we have to hug.
Yeah. Normally when I hug, you see this.
I know. I was going to say the hello half.
Yeah, you just get this. Nobody.